You could never script a more perfect day than what the Miami Hurricanes experienced on Saturday. It began with ESPN's epic college game day broadcast from campus, the second most watched game day in the history of the show, which spans decades. And then it ended with the primetime showcase of the football team against Florida at night. The view of the campus, the fun of Pat McAfee teasing that high dive all throughout the show, and then ending game day with an epic moment, running off the set, running through the pool deck at the Student Union, up the ladders, and then diving off the high dive. Well, kind of diving. I'd call it more jumping, but jumping off the high dive, and then emerging from the water, throwing up the U to signify his pick for the game. My God, man, I don't know that it gets any better than that, okay? And then came the game and the total dominance of Miami's defense. And, man, it was something to watch. 0 for 13 on third down for the Florida Gators. This guy's swarming to the football with a crazy recklessness that clearly has become contagious up and down the defensive side of the roster. Miami emerged with a 4-0 record and now holds the number 2 ranking in the AP poll. It's a strong hand as this program, as strong a hand really as this program has had probably in 23 years, based on what we're seeing with our own eyes here. People all over the country, maybe even the world, are crying that the U is back. We heard it over and over again on Saturday. The U is back. The U is back. It makes me kind of grimace every time I hear the U is back, because people have tried to say the U is back for 20-something years, and the U has never been back. Can it be real this time? Can it actually be real? Nick Saban on game day and Mario Cristobal are calling it rat poison. In the unforgiving world of college football, the margin of error is virtually nil. Miami is determined not to let that rat poison infiltrate its program. This season is real, everybody, and we're going to be talking about all of that and more tonight as we embark on this new edition of CaneSport Live. Hello again, everybody. I'm Gary Ferman, the publisher of CaneSport.com. I welcome you back to the People Show, CaneSport Live. And as always, it'll be your show driven by your participation. I wonder if everything 305 is going to show up tonight to eat a Florida Gator-sized bag of crow, man. He's got a lot of crow to eat. I'm just waiting to see if he pops into the lobby here. Has not as of yet, not surprising. Usually he's one of the first, but he's not here yet. But many of our guests tonight have pre-registered with us, and they'll be coming on the show. And if you have not pre-registered with us and you would like to come be part of CaneSport Live on air, put the information on the screen right now. You email us at canesport@yahoo.com. We'll send you the link to the studio, and we'll get you on the show. We love to have newbies. Studio might be pretty packed here early in the show. So if you get a little message saying that there's no spots, just try back in a few minutes, and we'll make sure the spots free up along the course of the evening. As always, I'm going to be joined tonight in our first hour by our managing editor at CaneSport, Matt Shodell. And then the voice of the fan, Bruce Warner, will be joining me in the second hour. So without further ado, let me bring in Mr. Shodell himself, who I'm not really sure. I'll let Matt describe his feelings on what we're seeing from the Miami Hurricanes. Matt tends to worry a lot. Negativity sometimes rises to the surface. But, man, I mean, the scary thing about this season so far, Matt, is there's really very little to worry about. I mean, people are consumed with Brockermeyer having a hard time with some snaps because he's hearing mixed signals that are being thrown out there by the defensive line now, two games in a row, I might add. And that's the biggest crisis that we can come up with in the first, I guess, third of the season now of the 2025 Miami Hurricanes. Your thoughts?
Longtime listener, first-time caller, because this is a new Matt Shodell. This is an optimistic Matt Shodell. I don't know who the other guy was. The biggest sign to me that, Miami's never going to be back, because as Mario Cristobal clearly has said several times now, he doesn't want to be back. You can't what's it called when you bring back to life? I don't know, reanimate something that can't exist anymore. But they want to start their own new something, and it'll be called something eventually. It's going to obviously be something, because he's building something the right way. And the best sign to me of anything that's happened in the last 2 years, because there's been a lot of positive stuff that's happened in the last 2 years, regardless of how last season ended, is that Mario Cristobal is actually eating the rat poison, and deservedly so, because rat poison is not bad. If you put some sugar on it, it actually tastes pretty good. He went on somebody's show, and essentially what he said is that he's now rebuilt the roster. He said he was literally on a plane after he took the job, and he was ready to throw up. He saw that there was a 0 on the roster. There was nothing there, and he said it was the biggest rebuilding job right up there with FIU, more than Oregon. And then he went on to sort of talk about how this team has developed. The third-year players are coming through that he's recruited. The portal guys are playing well. Ruben Bain, he says, the best player in America. The pieces are coming into place. He said the culture had to be rebuilt from 0. When he starts talking, he hasn't talked like this in the first 3 years. He never in the first 3 years talked about how there was nothing at the starting point, 0, because he knew how much there was that they still had left. Once you start talking about where it was, the obvious thing to think about is, well, where are you now? Which is why he's never mentioned it before. That's how I know, knowing Mario, that he knows that they're where they need to be. He can keep saying, we need to keep improving every week. Every coach says that. And when he never talked about rat poison before this year. Nick Saban, I think, said it before this year. The first year we've heard about rat poison is this year, because Mario knows how good the team is.
It's Nick Saban saying that Mario's just
last year.
Yeah.
What?
Yeah, it's Nick Saban saying. Nick Saban created the saying.
I just said Nick Saban didn't just start saying it this year, but there's a reason Mario Cristobal started saying it this year, because he knows how good the team is, and he knows the team knows how good it is, and he knows there's no monster team out there this year. There's no Ohio State of last year where they just look unbeatable type of deal, and that's why he's saying rat poison for the first time, because he knows his team's there. He just doesn't want people to believe it. And I think that's the best sign there is.
All right, so the team is there, but let's throw out this little qualifier. They have been well into the fourth quarter of the Notre Dame game and the Florida game in one-score games. After dominating early, they've let the other team get back in. Against Notre Dame, it was because they went conservative in the second half and kind of let Notre Dame sneak back into it. Against Florida, they just couldn't convert third downs in the early part of the second half, and they kept having the punt from the Gator 40-yard line. And the Gators put together, I don't know how the hell they did it, to be honest with you, Matt, because that drive they put together, 80-yard drive, was just insanely good. And where that came from, I have no idea, because it was so atypical from everything that we had seen in the earlier part of the game. But they got themselves back in the game, and we're sitting there with a 6-point game deep into the fourth, and maybe deep's not the right word. Let me see what the timestamp was on Miami stretching the lead back out. It was at the 4:08 mark of the fourth quarter. So yeah, deep into the fourth, and I mean, it was a one-score game. That's kind of scary, man. I don't. Just double checking something here real quick. Yeah, I mean, that's that's pretty scary, and that game was hanging in the balance way too long for my taste.
Well, I mean, I sort of have a different view of it. So Florida runs the ball 10 out of 11 plays. Okay, something they have not done all year. I have a friend who's a huge Florida fan. They never do that. Okay, that touchdown drive, they ran the ball 10 out of 11 plays, and Miami could not stop it. Okay, and then Miami gets intercepted. Okay, And Florida ran the ball twice and passed the ball twice to start the next drive, ran the ball, and then dropped back to pass the next two plays. So they went back to an offense that hadn't worked the whole game. Instead of realizing DJ Lagway can't complete a pass, he's terrible, use the quarterback run, the running backs had found something, and then if you have to, use the quick passing game. But I guess they figured maybe Corey Heatherman was going to find a way to answer the run-heavy approach, and maybe they were right, But sometimes these offense coordinators outthink themselves, right? They have a really successful drive. They're like, okay, now the defense coordinator is going to try to stop that, so I'm going to go to something else to surprise him because he's going to be trying to stop what I just did. That's how they think, right? They think they're playing chess. They don't realize they're playing a madman in Corey Heatherman, right? He doesn't play chess. He just murders you. And it didn't work. And Florida had some horrible play calls on that next drive. Horrible play calls. They get the interception. They're in Miami territory. And they just couldn't. The 4th and 1, they couldn't convert it. The next drive, they were, just awful also. And they were baited into running the ball right into a gap that Heatherman begged them to run into, and they ran right into it on a 4th and 1 that next drive. 3rd and 1, and they had to punt on 4th and 2. So look, with that said, that doesn't take away from the fact that Miami, had they had maybe better weather, and again, people are asking about Carson Beck. Carson Beck got hit really hard. It seemed like he wasn't really throwing the ball with that much velocity after that, but the ball's wet, the ball's heavy, it might be slippery. Like, I don't know. I haven't gotten any information from Miami or anybody around Miami that he's hurt, okay? But certainly he was not throwing the ball the way he was earlier in the game or in warmups, okay? There's a bye week. He's going to be fine. Like, I have zero concerns, all right? But with that said, like, if Miami had run its full offense, if the weather had been fine, I think Miami wins the game by 3 touchdowns, And the other game that was close, Miami has let teams stay in the game to some extent, right? Because they sort of go in this shell. And my friends ask, who should I bet on? I said, I'd tell you to bet on Miami all day, except I know that when they get up by 14 points or 20 points, that Mario Cristobal is going to start running the ball, maybe get a first down, run the ball, 3rd and 7. If there's an incompletion, you punt. First is attacking, where they can win games by 30, 40 points, which is fine. The coach's job is to win the game, not to cover the point spread. So when Gary says they let other teams stick around, they let other teams stay in the game, they won the games. Mario played to win the games, and they did. So I have zero problem with it. I know fans don't love it. They want to blow everybody out. But until he loses a game doing that, there should be zero criticism of him.
All right, so Ian Killen says, I can't wait for everything 305. He means not everything 503. You guys will remember our illustrious caller, Everything 305, predicted once again, after being wrong in the Notre Dame game, he predicted Miami would lose to Florida. And probably is going to continue to predict that Miami will lose all throughout the season, hoping he'll be right at least once here along the way. But I know a lot of people are waiting to hear him eat some crow. So Everything, I see you have finally showed up here in the studio. But you have your microphone turned off. So before I bring you on, you got to, okay, good job. And let's not waste any more time. Let's hear what Mr. Everything 305 has to say about his hopefully short-lived prognostication career.
Well, Gary, let's go back to the facts here. A couple of weeks ago, the first show, I did say that there would be more parity in the ACC. And so far, I've been proven correct. Or do you disagree?
Parity in the ACC?
Yeah, I told you Georgia Tech would be a very credible threat to Clemson, which it was. I told you all that Syracuse would go ahead and still have a good young quarterback. Put that in the chat as well. So, so far, not too far off of that prognostication. But let's be honest here. We have problems on offense. And eventually you're going to be able to take your best backs, and they're going to get beat up and banged up. You're going to be on the road, and you got to win a game, and you won't get a yard, and you got to be able to throw the ball somewhere. And right now, our passing game has a lot to be desired. Yes, the conditions were bad, Matt. Yes, it was raining. Yes, we had the similar conditions against Notre Dame. But there's several situations that we've had kids step up and make great plays. C.J. Daniels saving Beck on that throw with a marvelous catch, one-handed catch for a touchdown. We've been a little lucky as well. So you got to be able to look at everything, the big picture. We have to get a lot better on offense. Our passing game has to get better. I'm not going to sit here and tell you that the protection hasn't been perfect, because it pretty much it almost has been perfect. Carson has not been consistent the last 2 weeks, the last 2 games. We've seen his feet go all over the place. He's not done a really good job the last 2 games. If you really look at things, he's thrown behind receivers. He's got some work to do, and I know the conditions weren't favorable. Obviously, they weren't favorable.
All right, let me stop you for a minute. Let's talk about this offense and this passing game for a minute, because I don't like your prognosticating. It's not real accurate, but in this case, you're not that far off the boat here. So Matt and I brought this passing game thing up in the preseason, and Matt and I noticed that there's times when these receivers have a hard time getting open, and CJ Daniels, as good as he is I'm going to call him a possession receiver. Like I don't. He's not a 100%. He's not a speed receiver. He's a possession receiver. Okay. Malachi Toney is a slot. I'm going to call him a possession receiver too. Like there might be times when they get him open down the field this year. They did one time against Notre Dame, but I don't know that I would call him a speed receiver. Matt, if you think I'm wrong, correct me. But I don't think I would call him a speed receiver, either.
He's very Roscoe Parrish-y. He's not. Look, he's not the fastest receiver, but neither was Xavier Restrepo. What he is extremely hard to tackle one-on-one in the open field. Very shifty, very quick. And CJ Daniels, there's a reason. I mean, he was a banged up last year, but there's a reason LSU made him a possession receiver, which he did not want to be, right? They made him run short routes. They didn't send him on deep routes because they felt he wasn't fast enough either. But what they didn't recognize, and what Gary's underplaying a little bit, and maybe everything also, is his catch radius down the field. Like, he doesn't need to beat a defensive back. If he's one-on-one with a DB and he's not fast enough to beat the guy by a step or two, he can go up over him or make these ridiculous catches. His ability to judge the ball in the air and use his body control and his hands to make really difficult catches makes the situation where, you said it's a lucky catch or something, but he's made those in practice. He made it in a game when it mattered. He can make those catches. He does make those catches, which is why Carson Beck will throw the ball up if he thinks it's one-on-one. Hopefully it is one-on-one. That's the problem for Carson sometimes. And I think that's fine, when it's a guy like CJ Daniels with his height, his length, his body control, and his vision for the ball in the air.
Yeah, so Keelan Marion, he's got some speed, but Tony Johnson. But I think what I'm getting at is they don't have that alpha dude.
They do.
Unless you want to call Tony that.
Gary, but they don't have a guy who takes the top off the defense, though. They still don't have a guy that takes.
Josh Moore's the alpha guy, but he just doesn't play.
Josh Moore might one day be the alpha guy.
He is the alpha guy right now. They just have to trust.
They only played him 8 reps the other day, Matt. That means the coaches do not agree with you.
Because his routes that he runs are down the field in those bad conditions. He'll play a lot more reps.
Yeah, they don't agree with you yet. He's not there yet.
But you guys have to agree. You have to have one guy in that group.
Yeah. So the guy that everything that should be ready to play that role is JoJo Trader.
Yeah.
Now, for some reason that I can't understand, okay, I'm going to call him out for this because this is totally unacceptable. But supposedly he had a bad week of practice last week. He got, he's back healthy. He's out at practice, and apparently he wasn't doing very well out there.
Can I read into that a little bit? Because we all know that Mario wants guys to play hurt. He actually said it on this show he taped the other day. He was praising guys who play hurt. Like, that's his thing because he did it. And some guys like JoJo struggle sometimes. Like, some guys feel pain differently. Some guys get hurt and it takes a little longer. And I think Mario's frustrated that JoJo, who's this high profile, I think we all know it. He just hasn't proved it on the field. This high profile, talented receiver out of high school has not been able to do anything yet because he's just banged up. But Mario, I think, doesn't think the injuries rise to the level where JoJo shouldn't be able to be great. even with the injuries. And that's I think there's a disconnect. I think there's,
I don't know, man.
but I think there's a disconnect there.
He was out there in uniform. He looked ready to go. They're playing Florida on primetime national TV. JoJo Trader came to Miami to be a primetime player. Okay. I'm sure he's compensated like a primetime player. He came to Miami to be a primetime player. And I'm not going to jump on him too much here because we don't know all the facts, but he was in uniform and was supposedly ready to go. And they didn't feel like they could put him out there for whatever reason. Okay. Let's leave it at that. Okay. That hurt that team against the Florida team that had good defensive backs. And, there was not going to be a lot of easy yards coming in the passing game. So the coaches very astutely said, you know what? We have a dominant running game, a dominant offensive line. No matter, how hard certain message board posters try to rip holes in the offensive line. I'm not going to mention any names, but that's a pretty damn good offensive line. And they got really good running backs playing at an extremely high level. And they just said, listen, we're going to win the game with our O-line and our running backs. And they sure as heck did it. And then the defense shows up and holds Florida 0 for 13 on third downs. And man, I mean, they didn't have to try to do more in bad conditions. Okay. It was wet. Okay. So why try to do more than you need to do? I'll defend them in this regard in a game like that when you don't need to take the chances throwing the ball down the field. So I think all that combined into what you're trying to call everything an offense problem. And I'm not ready to say it's an offense problem. I just think they need to get they started to get Elijah Lofton back involved. That helped, I thought. And they need to get JoJo Trader back out there, and they need more of Josh Moore.
You keep mentioning Trader. Let me ask you something. Mario never in 4 years that I can remember has publicly called out a player. I can't remember him doing it in the last 4 years until JoJo. So there's something more going on here than just, we had a bad week of practice. Mario never does that. Never, ever, ever does that. That's why I'm saying there's something with the frustration level has reached this point, and I think it's more than he had a bad week of practice.
You're going into week 5 now.
Yeah.
I mean, it's week 5. You're almost halfway through the season.
Right. That's what I'm saying. I think the frustration is he doesn't seem to be able to play with whatever, lingering injuries he's been having. And it's frustrating to Mario because Mario never does that. Ever, ever, ever.
All right, everything. Go ahead, man. What else? Did we lose him? Oh, looks like we lost him.
Ask him his prediction for the FSU score.
Everything. Can you hear me?
I can hear you.
How many touchdowns does FSU win by? Everything.
Against Virginia?
Against us.
I gotta watch them. I'll be very honest. I just watched a couple of minutes of them against Alabama. I haven't seen them play all year, to be quite frank.
Good answer. I like that.
I'd like to be able to see what they're going to do Friday. So I think that's an interesting matchup. I guess Virginia has a great offense. So I can't pass judgment right now. I will say this. Castellanos has really, really fit in really well up there. I mean,
yeah. By the way, he got banged up last game. Does anyone know if he's 100%? They played like Kent State or somebody. He twisted his ankle. I don't know.
Somebody posted that up that he was hurt on the.
Yeah, I didn't really research it yet. Well, I'll wait to see Friday, I guess.
But the last thing I'd like to bring up, I haven't seen a better offensive line after 4 weeks. I don't know if you guys have, but I haven't.
No.
So we'll go ahead and see what they do. But again, Mario, I think Mario, the biggest thing he's done this year is keep everybody pretty much focused. I mean, that staff is more focused this year too. I look at that staff. I look at the sideline. I see them going. I mean, they look a lot more cohesive than they have in the past.
This is by far the best coaching staff Mario's had, and probably the best coaching staff Miami's had since the heyday.
I did notice, and I don't know if you guys noticed that. I was watching the broadcast later on, but at the 3:22 or 3:20 mark, Corey came over. And we had possession of the ball. We hadn't scored yet. And he went over to go over a few things with him. And I've never seen a DC do that when we're on offense based on that special situation. And I was pleased to see that because that means there's ownership and no one is getting pissed off or stepping on anybody's toes or any of that. Everybody's on the same page. I hadn't seen that before. I don't know if you guys caught that, but I did.
Yeah, no, we're watching the game live. All right, everything. Thank you, man.
All right, guys. We'll see you next week.
You got a week to figure out your prediction for the Florida State game.
How good is Virginia, though, really? I mean, who they played?
We'll find out Saturday.
Maybe they beat NC State. That's about it so far.
Yep. We'll find out. NC State's not bad. So Virginia, they're sneaky. We'll see. We'll see how it goes.
Maybe they lost to NC State. Hold on, let me look. It was a 4-point game. I can't remember who won now. NC State beat Virginia in that game, 35-31. That's what it was.
No, Virginia's 1-0 in the ACC.
That game didn't count. That game didn't count. It was scheduled beforehand, so it didn't count towards the ACC, I believe. Towards the ACC standings, if I'm not mistaken.
That's possible. Yeah, that's possible.
Could be.
That's weird.
I think it's a good draw at the gate for both those schools. Maybe that's weird.
Yeah.
But, all right, guys.
All right, everything.
Well, go Canes.
All right, man. Thought it was pretty nice. There, Matt. I didn't give him too hard of a time.
I think he used AI and trained it to use his voice. That was not him.
we could have gone hard there. Dr. Bloodbat says Carson Beck has him worried. Does Carson Beck have you worried, man, after a bad game?
I mean, the only reason I'm not worried about his arm, if that's what you're asking me, like, whatever happened, he's got a week off. He's going to be fine. It was rain. It was wet. The ball was heavy, whatever. He got dinged up a little bit. He's going to be fine. What worries me with him a little bit is he just has shown the last 2 games his tendency to throw the ball in harm's way when he's pressured, right? 3 interceptions, all under pressure the last 2 games is not something that is a formula for success if you continue to do it, right? So yeah, I said before last game that he needs to stop doing that. And just if he's not sure or under pressure, throw the ball away, take the sack, move on to the next play. The offense is too good to give another team chances with turnovers, and he did it again. He was running forwards, guy coming up around his ankles, and he just floated the ball down the middle with no oomph on it. I don't know why, because his forward momentum, he should have been able to get something on that ball, and it just stayed up in the air forever.
Maybe it was wet. Maybe it really was wet. And
That's what I'm saying. Yeah, maybe. But what's weird is I remember he was throwing the ball really well in pregame, and it was raining harder in pregame than it was at that point. So I don't understand. I think when he got hit,
no pressure.
He got hit pretty hard. There was one play where he got popped pretty hard, and I don't know. I have no idea. It didn't make any sense to me.
There's no pressure in pregame. You're just out there.
Yeah, maybe that's maybe it's mental. But if it's mental, that's what Georgia was saying about him last year. They said he had the yips, and he couldn't, he wasn't throwing the ball correctly under pressure. And that's what Georgia fans said last year. So I hope that's not what you're intimating. I mean, because that would be really bad.
So Mayday is asking about Ruben Bain, and who clearly is playing as well as any defensive lineman in college football. And he's getting a little bit confused about my opinion. Listen, I never said Ruben Bain was too small to be a defensive lineman. What I said is when I look at Ruben Bain and the way he plays football, I'm looking at Warren Sapp all over again. Like I think this guy could be. I'm not going to say he's going to be an NFL Hall of Famer when he's still in college, or and all that, but I think that we're looking. I mean, obviously he's an elite, whatever he wants to be in college. But when I'm looking at him moving forward into the National Football League, to me, he's more of a inside guy than an outside guy when you're projecting him to the next level. I mean, it's just an opinion. Okay. I'm not like Ruben Bain right now is the best defensive lineman in college football. And I'll tell you who's not that far behind him is Mesidor. Okay. Mesidor is playing unbelievable football. And the only reason that everybody's not talking about Mesidor is because he's on the same team as Ruben Bain.
The guy weighs 275 pounds. I don't even understand the question. If anything, he's going to grow into a 285, 290-pound tackle in the NFL. But right now, he's trying to keep his weight down. And Mario literally said today that he's 275 pounds. So
if he
moves like the NFL, Mario says he moves like a 225 pounder, which is why he's so good.
Okay, the NFL is a whole different game. If he shows up at the NFL 280, 285, they're going to move him inside. I mean, it's going to happen.
No,
but
I think he no doubt winds up a tackle at the next level. I don't see how he doesn't. I mean, like wrestlers, you can keep cutting weight, but at some point you're losing your oomph by not having all those calories and energy and all that other stuff your body's telling you that it wants.
Yeah, and he's so good and so strong. A bull rush can work at the college level. Not usually going to work at the NFL level. it takes it takes a little bit more than that to be a defensive end in the NFL. They like long defensive ends, and it just is what it is. It's been like that long before Ruben Bain was playing football. So playing as well as any defensive lineman in the college game right now. Obviously, he's going to be an end primarily this year, and then we'll see what happens in the future. But that just was an opinion I've had from day one. I mean, I think he could be another Warren Sapp. And remember, Warren Sapp started at tight end. Okay, so he's the closest thing to Warren Sapp that I've seen since Warren Sapp left Miami. I'll leave it at that. All right, let's go to Kane because I know he's at work.
Hey, how y'all doing today? Look, I'm gonna make this shit quick, fast. I ain't got time. Y'all ain't got time. We won. Don't give a damn. Beck look good here, there. Play a little bad. Don't give a damn. I'm sick of these crying ass fans we got. Cry, cry, cry. You win, they cry. You lose, you cry. If Mario lose, fire that. We got the worst fans ever. What the hell is wrong with them? We won, as Matt and Gary say. Let me ask you this. Last year, I'm not going to mention his name. Did he play every game great? Or did he have some historic shit that was like, oh, the California game, we're going to lose this shit. Right after halftime, what did he do? Oh, damn, he didn't throw that, did he? Come on, man. Leave Beck alone. Damn it, he'll be fine. The defense is fine. And the other thing, we've been playing on a wet track. 4 straight games. Imagine them jokers on that dry field. Imagine that. On a dry field? Shit, get out of here. And the other thing, people, if you're watching us, get up here. They want new people. They tired of seeing our ass. They want new faces. You listen to the show, get up here. I'm up here every week. You need new people. I love it. I'm happy. I was there. I didn't make Kane walk. The rain came, and I wasn't going to walk from a man's house because I didn't bring my water shoes, and I got soaking wet in it down. But it was a beautiful game. Loved it. Y'all are great. Keep doing what you're doing. It's a bye week, and I hope Virginia stumped the dog out of FSU because I don't think they're that good. And last but not least,
no, you don't want that to happen.
I agree.
You don't want that. Oh, damn!
Beat a top 10 team. Who wants to beat a team?
You want them undefeated.
All right, let them be undefeated. I hate them. And Cassiano, y'all know we played him at Boston College 2 years ago. We beat him 45-24, some shit. He had 160 rushing, 150 passing. But it's a different animal on that defense. We haven't been on a dry track. And one more thing, I'm gone. If you look at all these kids' interviews, it's totally different. And when y'all asking questions, they like, yeah, okay, not a whole lot of ha-ha. These motherfuckers mean business. So if you ain't riding with us, K-ass. I got to go back to work. See y'all next week, 305, ride or die, baby. Woo!
All right, Kane. Gotta love him.
Great. Yeah, I mean, look, I know Miami fans want FSU to lose, and I get it. But the argument, for ACC tiebreakers at the end of the year, like I don't care about other teams. I really don't. But I do want Miami to get national respect, and you get national respect by beating teams that are beating other teams. And if FSU enters this game ranked 5th, 6th, whatever they would be if they beat Virginia, maybe. And then Miami crushes them. I mean, then maybe Miami moves up to number 1, or it's exciting to show out against teams that are doing really well. And the other thing is, I honestly believe in the mentality of sports because being a terrible athlete myself, who played into college, there is something to be said that when things like the whole rat poison thing, it's true. There's a reason they say it. When things are going really well and you think you're great and you get smacked in the face, it's a shock initially, and another team can take advantage of that initial shock. Whereas if you get slapped in the face the Friday night before and you have a whole week to dwell on that hurt and be mad about that hurt and then take that hurt out on the opponent, it makes it harder for the opponent, which would be Miami. So I think it's better for Miami if FSU wins, period. I know Miami fans don't want to hear it. They just want FSU to lose every game, but I think it's better for Miami.
All right, let's go to Adam. Oh, boy, you're.
Oh Lord.
Well, no.
Where's the stuff?
You're not in your bed, I hope.
I am. We're trying to get my daughter down, so I'm trying to multitask.
Okay.
You got the priority straight.
You want me to come
go
back
on the podcast.
No,
later.
no, it's fine. Hold on a sec.
Go to bed. Go to bed.
No, a couple things real quick. One, what did the refs say on the Shamar Brown?
They said they screwed up.
Yeah, they said they screwed up. They made a mistake.
Okay. Also, was Jordan Lyles still injured? Because I saw him just dressed, but he obviously didn't play.
Yeah. Mario always says they can play. They could play. They were close. They could play, and they don't. He has to put an injury report out on the Thursday before the game, the Friday before the game, and 2 hours before the game when you play an ACC opponent. So I'm extremely excited for that. Very, very.
I think they want Jordan Lyles for the long haul, and I think that maybe we don't know this. We don't. They don't tell us the truth about the injuries, but maybe with the field being wet. And maybe it just didn't make sense to force it in this game. They had Fletcher, and Marty Brown playing at a very high level, so they were good.
And also, what was it? What change have you seen in Ruben Bain this year versus last year, and even his freshman year?
He was hurt last year. He was hurt.
No, but he even looked stronger than his freshman year when he was
Yeah, he's totally changed his body. Last year he would have been this or close to it, except he was hurt all year.
Mm-hmm.
And remember, this is 2 years removed from his freshman year. Of course, he's got 2 more years in a college strength program. His body's growing up.
And by the way, he was great as a freshman. So think about that. That's where his starting point was.
And what have you guys seen in the biggest difference? Obviously, we're tackling better, but in this defense, in the Heatherman defense versus the Guidry defense,
speed, swarming to the football, mindset, coaching, everything's different. I mean, there's nothing that's not different. What's not different is a better question.
I mean, but the speed was always there, even in the Guidry defense.
No, they played slow with Guidry. They didn't know what they were doing.
Not like this. This is a whole other deal.
Jaden Harris was the fastest player on the team last year. Would you have known it from watching him try to figure out what the hell he's supposed to do in Lance Guidry's defense?
Mm-mm.
I mean, they didn't know where the hell they were supposed to go.
Yeah, the guys that were playing last year don't touch the field this year. They're not even close to the quality of these guys. And, they're playing great. Keontae Scott, Jacoby Thomas.
The ferocity in which they attack the ball on defense is something I haven't seen in a long time.
Corners, Wesley Basaint. I mean, you name it. Muhammad Touré is a big addition. I mean, it's a whole different deal, man. This is a really good team and a really good defense. And I think the offense will come around when they get all their parts together and they get a dry playing field.
Also, a couple other things. Did Heatherman always have this cheetah package in? Because I know Herb Street was mentioning this cheetah package with Bain and Messidor kicking on the inside and then Lightfoot and I think Blount.
I'm not familiar with what his personnel was at Minnesota to that degree, but I mean, it's perfect for the personnel he has here. They want to get Lightfoot, they want to get Blunt out there. They don't want to.
They did the same thing last. Yeah, this is like Guidry did also. It's not like he is reinventing the wheel or something. I mean, this is it's pretty obvious if you have ends like Messidor and Bain who can rush from the inside, and you got much faster guys. I mean, Lightfoot's incredibly fast for a defensive end. So yeah, it's a no-brainer. Even Gary Ferman would have figured out to do that.
Okay,
it's quality use of personnel. It's I mean. They're not. I mean, listen, they're doing a great job. This isn't rocket science. I mean, you've got these pass rushers sitting over here on the bench. You got tackles that are good, not great. You don't want to overburden your tackles. You take them off the field in passing situations, and you bring in your pass rushers. I mean, it's working great. They're moving Bain around. They're moving Messidor around. The defense can't hone in. They're getting incredible pressure on the quarterback. It's rat poison, man. It's too good.
And last thing, I noticed on the fourth down they had Lightfoot playing like an outside type or a stand-up defensive end. Is that something they're also going to do with like him and Malik Bryant?
He can drop into coverage at times. I mean, he's athletic enough to do it. He can become a linebacker if you want him to in certain situations. He's a very versatile kid. Matt noted how fast he is, and I love the way they're using them.
Okay. Well, thanks for taking my call. Have a great rest of the show.
Hi, Adam. Good luck getting it's a girl, right?
Yes.
Yeah. Good luck. Good luck getting her down, man.
Yeah. Have a good one.
I hope she got to watch you on the show. We'll talk to you next week.
Okay.
See ya.
I
mean, he's obviously studying the game. He comes with some good questions.
Oh, Adam.
But this is big picture. I don't see any world where this is not a playoff team. They're not going to lose 3 games. Okay, with 2 losses, they're going to be in the playoffs. And I think I feel pretty comfortable saying this is going to be a top 25 team, and either in scoring defense or total defense or both. And I feel pretty comfortable saying it's going to be a top 35 scoring offense, top 35 total offense, one or both. And that's enough, to be a top tier team this year. Because if you guys remember the last 22 years, which nobody wants to remember, there were years where Miami was a top 10 defense or a top 10 offense or a top 15, top 20, one or the other. But they would be like 60th in scoring defense or 70th in total defense. The magic formula is to have enough playmakers on both sides of the ball to where you can do what you need to do on either side of the ball. And that's what they have this year. Through 4 games, I feel pretty comfortable saying that, So, as long as they don't implode or have a massive injury at a position like quarterback, then we should just be, making our playoff plans. That's what I'm doing. I'm just looking at the calendar, just counting the days. Like, let's get these freaking 8 games out of the way already. Jeez. Fast forward a little bit.
Well, 9 if you want to count Charlotte.
Yeah.
All right, let's go to Rocky. What's up, Rocky? How you been, man? You haven't been with us in a while. How's everything going?
Yeah. Hey, gentlemen, thanks for letting me on. I've been trying to get in the past few weeks. I've just been busy during this time slot, whatever you want to call it.
Too busy for Gary Ferman? Get rid of him, Ferman. Get rid of him.
Well, look, Matt, I'm actually here for you, Crab Man. I'm here to make sure that you keep your sour grape Crab Man self, because I miss Gary's glasses that he used to wear every time you went off on track. I know you got them, Gary.
There's not much to complain about. I used to do a DNR. Remember, I did a daily negative rant the first 2 years of Mario's tenure. Every time we did the show, I do a DNR. I haven't done a DNR for 2 years. The team's too good. I mean, I do a PNR, I guess, a positive negative rant.
These are my real Matt Shodell glasses.
He got those at Space after the game. He must have picked them up.
So you want me to tell you? I can tell you something negative. You want to hear something negative?
Yeah, why not? Go ahead.
I got to sit next to that guy in the press box every game. You know how tough that is?
You pointed the wrong way.
Me? Oh,
it's opposite.
That way? Okay. I'm trying to point at Gary. On my screen, it looks like I'm pointing the right way.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
So what's up, Brock?
What's there to be negative about? We're 4-0. It's 2025.
Exactly.
That's
what I'm saying. Year. Everything's great.
Look, for me, tread lightly on this, but for me, it's goosebumps, especially on defense. I see shades of the old days. As you can see here, don't adjust your set too much, but that is a Nike shirt on. I've got it. So let it show.
Just got to stay healthy and keep their edge.
You got it. I mean, look, the defense is swarming the way they used to. The hits in the transfer portal guys are all hits. Keontae Scott and Jacoby Thomas are the biggest 2 in my mind that stand out of those, even though Blay has played well.
These are beyond hits, man. These are home runs.
Yeah, I mean, look, they really went out, scouted, and got it right in the transfer portal on defense. And really, honestly, the coolest thing about it is, I'm sure Xavier Lucas is playing great. Why? You don't know he's out there. You don't know he's out there. I mean, they don't throw his way, right? So
you know what's weird? He hasn't graded out real well, but I agree with you. He's playing fine. I don't know why his grades are so low. He's like in the 50s.
Well, I don't understand it because
I don't either. I think he's played fine. But I'm writing a story on the transfer. Like Mario finally got the portal right. I agree with Gary 100% this year. Like this, and it was the perfect year to do it because he took 20 portal guys with a scholarship limit of 105. As long as you're not throwing money at nobodies, which he didn't.
But we've seen that before, where they've taken that many and they were kind of
correct. They were throwing money.
Other than the cornerback from Michigan State, I'm not sure there's a miss.
There was one other that they didn't need. The backup kicker, they didn't need to pay him. They didn't need to pay Bert Auburn at this point. Like he'll be here maybe next year.
Carter
Davis
year?
How about Carter Davis, by the way?
Like he's stepping up like crazy. But that kid,
the only guys you didn't need, the only guys you didn't need,
11 coming into the season, Matt. Right. You think they're sitting there saying back in
Carter Davis? I didn't say Carter Davis. I said Bert Auburn.
No, but Carter Davis was 4 of 11 coming into the season,
right?
And they're not sitting there back in December, January saying, "Oh man, we got this all good, man. We got Carter Davis." I mean, like you're not expecting Carter Davis to perform at this level back then. So you go and you get Bert Auburn, who has also had his own struggles, but a guy that has done it at the Division I level.
As we sit here today, now we're saying these are the guys you didn't need, right?
Yeah, I'm not calling him a miss. I'm not going to call him a miss, Matt. Bert Auburn's not a miss.
Okay. If you pay somebody who doesn't play, to me that's a miss. But
you brought in Bert Auburn because you had, like you said, Gary, you had no idea what Carter Davis was going to be after going 4 for 12 at FAU or whatever it was. That was his stat line coming in. I mean, who knew? Who knew? And like I wrote on the message board, whenever he kicked that field goal against Notre Dame, how many of you guys had a heart attack a second ago? All of them. Like 300 responses. Me.
I love stories like that. Guys who just like never got a chance. And just stuck it out at FAU, and like nobody wanted him out of high school. He had to beg his way onto a team. FAU tried to get rid of him at one point, and then he came back because he couldn't. The other team didn't want him anymore. I mean, it's just like kudos to Miami for finding guys like that and taking guys like that and having them then have success. Like that's amazing to me.
Yeah, but this team is focused. This team just exudes what Mario has wanted for 4 years, as far as the culture he's trying to build. We've gone from this here to this right here.
Yeah.
Now, if there's a worry, if there's a worry that I have, it's not a negative, but when is this not going to work and we're going to have to do this and put the ball down the field? It's football. There's going to be, it could be the one at Tallahassee. There's going to be a game where we're gonna have to throw in some way, shape, form, or fashion. We're gonna have to throw the ball to get a score, and running the clock out once we get 20 points up, isn't gonna work for whatever that scenario is gonna be. But it's gonna come up, and can we do that? Are we capable of doing that? Yes. I have faith in Carson Beck. I don't know where all this he's hurt stuff comes from. Look, there was a monsoon in the first half, and I know I get it. You said that he was throwing well, in pregame and then was kind of off. But correct me if I'm wrong. The Georgia games where he played Florida, didn't he have a couple of bad games against Florida then, or am I off there?
He threw for a lot of yards, but he had like 3 interceptions. I mean, the Georgia fans wanted to get rid of Carson Beck because for a portion of the season, they claimed he had the yips, meaning he would just the ball would come out weird and it wouldn't go where it was supposed to go, and it wouldn't have the right pace on it, and it wasn't in the right spots, and you could see it on film. I don't know what it was, and their offensive line sucked, and their receivers were dropping passes.
Well, yeah,
the running game didn't help him. He had a tremendous amount of pressure on his shoulders to win every game, so maybe he did take some bad chances. Maybe he was frustrated to the point that it got mental with him. But I haven't seen that at all at Miami, And Gary brought up that, the throws didn't look right or whatever, and whatever.
His interceptions, you got to look at him. One, Malachi Tony jumped out of the gym and took it away from Tony Johnson, tipped the ball to another player, and then the other one.
He could easily listen. Carson Beck could have 5 or 6 interceptions right now. He's taking too many chances for sure.
Well, yeah, you could say that, Matt. But then again, you also got to say, look, we made those plays, and you got to accept the fact that C.J. Daniels made that play. You got to accept the fact that Josh Moore made that play. And I mean,
he's trusting his players. So it's called second guessing, right? Because if he throws 2 interceptions and because of that they lose the game, it's why the hell is he throwing those passes? We know for a fact that he does really poorly under pressure. Pro Football Focus has noted it from his years at Georgia, really awful grades under pressure versus great grades when he's not under pressure. And at Miami, he's got an 85% kept clean in the pocket ratio for the year, and he's doing great in those situations. And when he's under pressure, he's not. So it's a pattern for the last 3 years that he just has to understand. If there's a guy in his face, if there's a guy wrapped around his ankle, throw the ball away, because that's when he's getting into trouble. And it barely ever happens at Miami, 15% of the time. So just move on to the next play. That's all I'm saying he should do. And I think if he does that, you don't need to force the ball to make CJ have a great catch and avoid an interception, is what I'm saying. This offense is good enough to overcome a 2nd and 10 or 3rd and 10 situation. Is what I believe.
And we all know how Dawson likes to dink and dunk. Just play within the offense. Don't try to do too much.
Yeah, exactly.
Hit Elijah Lofton on the little flat in the flat out of his motion, and do that all night because they can't cover him.
Yeah, some teams you need to force the issue, and you need to do what Carson Beck has done at times and try to do it. But this team, you don't. The defense is good enough. You don't need to score 1 million points. And the only way you're probably going to lose a lot of games is with turnovers. Like, that's the only way you're going to lose games. So he's just got to avoid it. He's got to be smart about it when he's under pressure.
0 for 13 on 3rd down. I don't care who you're playing. That's
exactly.
That's a statement. I don't care who you're playing. Yeah. But look, the team looks great. The offensive line is playing well. Jordan Lyle and JoJo Trader. I've said this on other places. Yeah, it's my hot take. JoJo Trader is going to redshirt. Watch it happen. Why? Mario tends to go with trends, and I agree with you, Matt. If he's calling out JoJo Trader like he did, or he may have, I might have missed that. But
I think they need him. I don't think they can redshirt him.
I disagree, Gary. I don't think so because Keelan Marion looks good. They got Malachi Tony, who's a superstar. C.J. Daniels is doing well.
They need JoJo Trader.
Can I give you one more theory? Because It makes no sense for JoJo Trader to have been called out publicly by Mario. I think, and I'm just spitballing here, and I'm going to get in trouble for it. I don't freaking care because look at this guy. He doesn't care. Is it possible that Mario is trying to manipulate the NIL value of JoJo Trader for after the season so he can pay JoJo to stay and put out the narrative that he doesn't work in practice, he's always hurt, and then redshirt him, like you said, and then they can keep him for next year when he's going to be the #1 guy and have a freaking massive season. Because you don't want to.
If there's an NIL factor there, it's that he's getting paid handsomely and not. Well, they
can't. What they can't do is overpay him based on him not playing. But other teams aren't going to either, so we won't have a choice but to stay because he's not going to be happy if he doesn't play. But he's too freaking good to let him go anywhere else.
Maybe, but I think it's more likely, Matt, that they screwed up last year when they should have redshirted him and didn't. He really should have got the red shirt.
You don't understand. He insisted on playing. They wanted him to have surgery. He said, "No, I'm playing through it." He insisted and put off surgery because he refused to redshirt. Okay, it wasn't like Mario's choice. The players and their families now dictate what happens to some extent, unfortunately, because you're right. He should have had the surgery. He should have redshirted, and he refused to. And that's on him. But it's the next year now, and he still can't play. So
I think it's more trying to light a firecracker under his butt, to be honest.
Maybe that too, because look, all those receivers are blocking their tail off. All of them that are out there playing, and that's the other part of it. If you're not blocking as a receiver for Mario, you're not getting on the field. Point blank, period. And maybe that's it. I mean, I don't know, but look, man. Jordan Lyle, look, Brown and Fletcher are killing it. Those are exactly the type of backs that Mario loves. Yep. Yeah, they would like to have all three for the long haul, so you sit Lyle as much as you can. I don't think they needed him the other night. Florida had 3 starting defensive linemen out. They knew that. Yeah, so, you put him on the shelf till you need him. Probably up in Tallahassee against Florida State. But, man, so far.
And we had the tush-push game plan the other day. So Marty Brown's perfect for that tush push.
So what we do, look, rugby coaches all over Australia are loving the Miami Hurricanes right now.
They absolutely
guarantee you that. Because once we get up, you start running the ball up the middle, which gets us tight.
We always have offensive linemen running behind the play, getting ready to push.
Yeah, they're grabbing each other like this, saying, "Okay, guys, let's go." It's crazy.
Yeah. You can't even find Marty Brown. He gets lost in there. We saw him spring the one that even the refs got confused.
And give Shannon Dawson credit for the T. Coming up with that, something I don't think I haven't seen him use it at Miami at all until this year. The fact that he came up with that, knowing the power offense they have, the power running backs they have, and putting and SJ being a mobile, smaller guy as a center, and coming up with those formations, you could throw out of that. You can do so many things. That is basically Eagles tush push, but on steroids. For this particular offense, that's freaking genius. I'll rag on Shannon Dawson all day for some of the things he does, but I'll also give him credit. That is freaking genius what he does in those situations with the 3rd and 1s and the 4th and 1s now, and you can do that. fantastic.
And I agree. I agree. There'll be some wrinkles off that because he definitely has a dip to do his bag of tricks on that.
Oh, there's no question.
Nowhere close. But look, it's a fun team to watch. Hard Rock's been rocking the 2 home games that we had against our big opponents. I think Beck will be fine. I think all the stuff about Beck is overblown. I think he'll be fine.
I agree.
And look, I don't see. The whole thing is. Miami always wins a big knock. Well, Miami always wins early and then loses late. I see a different look in these guys' eyes. Mario definitely, but there's just a different feel to this team. I don't think. I got to be honest. It reminds me of a Saban Alabama run team. I mean, it just does.
It's a clone. It's an absolute clone.
Yeah, I mean, when I see what they're doing, it's
a clone. I mean, even Mario, everything he's saying, he's picking up from when he was at Alabama with Saban. He even said it on game day the other day. He turned to Nick. He said, "Sound familiar?" I mean, he is parroting everything that he saw them do at Alabama, where they won and won and won and won and won, and he's reaching. He'd be crazy not to. Like that's the blueprint, and he's following it, and it's working.
If there's one thing that frustrates the hell out of me is that we will be dominant in a game against a Louisville or a Stanford or something like that, and we will win 21-0 because Mario just refuses. Like, we get 3 scores within the first quarter, and a half, and then we run the clock out.
It's funny because Penelope asks why we get conservative in the third quarters. When we're in position to put teams away. Man, I didn't feel they got conservative against Florida. I think they just stopped converting third downs.
I mean, I looked after Carson Beck threw the interception. I went back and looked to see the next drive if they just ran, and they did not. It was like 3 of the next 5 plays were passes. But for the season, they're running the ball about 57% of the time, which is higher than
that's
usual
high for Shannon. Yes,
higher for Shannon Dawson.
But Matt, wait. But Matt, those passes weren't those 2 wide receiver screens?
Yeah, But that's what they did. The dude only threw 1 pass over 19 yards the whole game, and it was intercepted. Okay, so whatever the hell was going on with Carson Beck, they were not letting him throw the ball. He was 0 for 5 on every pass that went in the air more than 10 yards. He did not complete a pass that was thrown in the air more than 9 yards. Okay, that's scary when you say it out loud. But with that said, the conditions I'm using as an excuse. If those conditions were normal and it was a beautiful day all day and the field wasn't wet and the ball was dry the whole day, I'd be concerned.
I'm gonna buy into that because we haven't had.
I'm not gonna be concerned until I see it again in a normal game condition. I'm just not gonna be concerned until then.
Dr. Bloodbath makes an interesting point. FSU can score. They've proven they can. They got Gus Malzahn as their offensive coordinator. If we go conservative, we will lose. Could be on something there.
I think
here's the thing. Conservative is what Miami is. That's their identity now because people consider running the ball conservative. If you run 5 out of 7 plays, they say that's conservative. But that's Miami's strength. Miami should be conservative. People that's what they do best. That's what this team is built to do. It's boring. Fans don't like it. But Miami's going to win the ACC title this year and maybe go a decent amount in the playoffs by running the ball constantly and playing good defense. That's what he has built. That's what we have. This is not Cam Ward's offense, people. Accept it. Be okay with it. Winning a game when you only are running 65 plays because you're running the ball 70% of the time, you still win. You can't come out there and expect Carson Beck to just throw the ball over the field and win that way. That's not what Miami's going to be doing this year. It's just not.
To me, this is the game when we go to Tallahassee, and it's a rivalry game. Obviously, everybody's going to be up for one another. This is going to be the game where coaching matters the most. Why? I'm not buying the hype of Thomas Castellanos as the world beater that some of the Florida State fans are chirping that he is. He's the best thing since sliced bread. We've seen him in Boston College and kicked his ass. But you know what I am buying? Gus Malzahn's a hell of an offensive coordinator.
Yeah, that's
and he's gonna have enough quirks in there. That dynamic between Malzahn and Heatherman, and as good as we've been on defense, this is gonna be our toughest challenge because they're gonna throw a lot at us.
Listen, FSU and Louisville. That's what before the season, I was trying to figure out who Miami could lose to, and it's only teams that can score a lot of points, period. Because Miami's going to be good enough to control the clock, score the points, right? And for FSU, I agree with you. I don't think their pieces, when you look at them on offense, scare you that much.
No.
But the way they're using those pieces and the way they attack an opposing defense team by team is brilliant. And you're right. They're going to find a way. They're going to find. I have no doubt they're going to find something in Miami's defense that none of these other 4 teams have found. And then it's on Corey Heatherman to do what he does, which is not play chess and just murder the opposing offensive coordinator and the quarterback. Because the key here, and it wouldn't surprise me if they do some option stuff with the quarterback run. They're going to find stuff from every playbook over the last 10 years from every team in the country to get that quarterback run going, because it's going to be hard for them to throw the ball down the field with Ruben Bain, Akeem Messidor coming on, and the secondary. And Gus Malzahn knows that. This is a game where if Corey Heatherman has not figured out a way to stop every wrinkle of the quarterback run, because guess what? USF did some quarterback run stuff, but I'd watched their film. They didn't do anything against Miami they had not already shown from the quarterback run on film.
Right.
This is a game where they're going to find some stuff from other programs, whether it's NFL, college, whatever. They will be looking for it. I mean, this is a massive game for Florida State.
Yeah.
And they will try to find something that matches up with what they think they can do to Miami. And until Corey Heatherman stops it, it's going to be a problem. There will be moments in that Florida State game where fans at Miami are going to be posting on the message board, what the hell happened to the defense today? Why is the defense having problems today? This is going to be one of those games, but Miami will control the clock on offense. They will have a game manager on offense and Carson Beck, as long as he's not throwing the ball under pressure stupidly. And they will be able to outscore Florida State. I see this as a game 31-21, something like that. I don't think Florida State's defense is that great. Okay, when one of their best players is named Darryl Jackson, I'm good with that. Okay, I'm just kidding. But I see it being a 10-point Miami win. I really do. I think it's that kind of a game.
I agree. Gary, one more thing. Can you kind of make the suggestion next time they do the cane walk going into Hard Rock Stadium to bring Messidor and Bain maybe in a cage on a trailer? I think that'd be pretty neat. Come on, man.
There's no chance you're going to see that.
Damn.
All right, Rocky, come back next week, man.
All right, we'll do. Thanks, fellas. Appreciate you guys.
All right, man. I know it's your bedtime, but we can't.
It's my bedtime. I was asleep here the whole show. I just got my eyes open, my mouth moving, but I've already been asleep.
We can't let you leave without you getting your fix of Greg. Okay.
Yo, 9-9. Oh, come on.
Oh no, I'm dead serious. All right, Greg.
Welcome
back. Welcome back. I thought we're live, man.
Yeah. I think that was the longest call ever. I thought you were going to do it so Matt wouldn't have to talk to me. I only have one bone to pick with you tonight, Matt. If we lose 2 games in the ACC, one to Florida State and one to pick a name, Louisville, that's your other team that you're worried about.
Yeah.
And Georgia Tech goes undefeated and plays Florida State in the championship game. How are we getting in the playoff? They're taking 3 ACC teams? Yeah, they hate the ACC.
Well,
how's that going to work, Matt?
If Miami, last year Miami finished 10-2, right? And
Correct.
If last year was this year with the expanded playoffs, they would be in the playoffs this year, right? I just can't imagine a world where a 10-2 Miami team that beat Notre Dame, that beat a Florida team that, they're struggling, but they're still Florida, right? And that beat every other ACC team except for 2, isn't in the playoffs. Who are you putting in the playoffs instead of them? Who are the other teams? Are you taking
Georgia Tech and Florida State?
5 SEC teams? If you're not taking 5 SEC teams, Miami's in the playoffs with 2 losses.
Wait a minute. How many teams are in the playoff?
12.
12?
Yes.
And they're going to take 3 ACC teams? I disagree.
They're not taking a 3-loss SEC team over a 2-loss Miami team this year. There's no freaking way that'll happen.
Okay, if you say. All right, we'll see.
I don't think.
Right.
That'd be crazy. That'd be crazy.
Okay, do you think
it's not an issue? How about that?
Do you think if we had this year's defense with last year's offense, we could have won the championship last year?
The national championship? No.
No?
No. Ohio State.
With our offense from last year?
I think
and
Ohio
this
State.
defense?
Ohio State's offense last year and their look, Cam Ward was great. Let's not get that wrong. But how many, like Gary loves to talk about NFL talent, okay? Ohio State's level of NFL talent from that team last year versus Miami's is like not even close, and that
they
shows
lost
up
2 games.
Okay, listen, you're a Miami fan. I get it.
Man, we're close, much closer this year.
I like the Miami passion, but I just think Ohio State's team last year was going to be too good on offense and good enough on defense. Like that's just my opinion.
All right, I got one last point. Okay, you're talking about Trader and Lyle. I heard on another podcast that there's 3 players on the team that are going to redshirt and leave the program. I believe the 3 are Trader, Lyle, and Ray Ray. Yeah, have you heard anything about that?
Ray Ray is the only one on there that it wouldn't surprise me. But there's no way the plan is not to play the Jordan Lyle and JoJo.
Well, when are they going to play?
Here's the problem with some of the things these podcasters say. Okay, I know some players are frustrated. Some families are frustrated. And some family members do speak to podcasters or people on the periphery and be like, "Yeah, he's going to leave. You know, he's not happy." When push comes to shove, and the season ends, and Miami says, "Here's our package for you." If it's more than another school, and if the plan is you're going to be the guy next year because the starter ahead of you or this guy is leaving, that player has a choice. Stay at Miami, make more money, and be on a really good team and start as opposed to being unhappy on the bench. Or go somewhere else, start over in a whole new system, make friends with everybody else, learn under a brand new coaching staff and make less money. Which one makes more sense to you, Greg?
I don't know. The guy's going to sit out all year this year. They're not going to play him.
They are owned by Miami and owned by whatever program they have once the school year starts. They don't have a choice. Then they have to make a decision after the season ends if they're going to stay and what their situation is the next year and where would they go and would they be better off somewhere else? Will they make more money somewhere else? And if the answer comes back no, like for anyone on a podcast right now to say this guy's leaving is insane.
That's insane. Yeah,
I mean, no negotiations that have happened yet after the season. Mario's going to.
Ray needs to go to the portal, but
it's
Jordan Lyle
for sound bites. It's not true.
Jordan Lyle doesn't need to go to any portal. JoJo needs to grow the hell up, drop some you-know-whats, and freaking get himself ready to play and go out there and do what.
And by the way, just because a player tells somebody privately, "I'm leaving after this year," you know, my son tells me I'm running away from home. It doesn't mean he's going to run away from home. You know, he's just mad at the moment, right? He still wants to eat the donuts I have underneath the kitchen cabinet. He's not going anywhere. So he's got to give donuts to the players that are mad right now. Just wait till after the season, give them their donuts, and everything's fine. They don't run away. All
right. By the way, if they allowed that touchdown to Marty Brown and we go up 20-0,
over.
Yeah.
They don't score because they'd have to pass and he'd be under siege. They would have shut him out.
That was unforgivable.
It wouldn't have been a game.
That's an unforgivable mistake by those officials. I mean, you can't make a mistake like that.
And that's an SEC crew.
That could have been a season-shaping mistake. Like, you can't make a mistake like that. Like, you just can't.
Yeah.
All right, Matt, go to sleep. Go to sleep, Matt.
All right, Greg, we'll talk to you next week, okay?
Take care. Thank you.
Greg.
See ya. That was a nice call by Greg.
Yeah, very nice.
I feel bad. I write this stupid free column every morning. I've been making people doesn't notice. I mentioned him a couple of times, but nothing. I wasn't mean to him, but I sort of included him in a way that, like, he hates me type of thing. And now maybe he doesn't hate me. I'm starting to think he likes me. It's very strange feeling.
Good night. We'll see you next week.
Thank you, everybody. Go Canes.
We'll literally see you next week. I don't want to see you again till next week. We have no game this weekend.
Yeah.
So poof, get lost. Cesar Iglesias makes a great point here. Maude Moten, playing without thinking, is a different player. There is no question about it. To me, people ask me all the time on the message boards to, like, who is playing better than expected, and I would put this guy right up there. I mean, defensive tackle was a position going into the season that was a clear concern. And Moten in tandem with David Blay are playing great in the roles that they're being asked to play. And they're not being asked to do too much. And there's no reason to ask them to do more than what they're doing. Give me a great first down, okay? Occasionally, we might still have you in there on second down. If we do, give me a great second down. But when that thing becomes a passing situation, we're taking you out. We're bringing in our pass rushers. It is working like crazy. This defense just looks so good. So, yeah, Moten absolutely deserves a shout out. And that leads to the next question, which is, where's Justin Scott? Well, I mean, you got Moten and Blay playing great, okay? And Justin Scott is at a level below them right now, okay? So you're only putting Moten and Blay out there for a play at a time, usually. Occasionally two, but one. They're not tired. It's like, why force the issue? And I don't have the snap counts right in front of me. I'd have to look them up. But why force the issue and say, oh, geez, we got to play Justin Scott right now if he's not playing as well as Blay and Moten? Justin Scott's going to play plenty of football this year. The other thing that you have to take a look at is the snap counts, because the defense was so dominant and getting them off the field on third down. The snap counts were down. So nobody was winded. Nobody needed a break. So that's why you didn't see the backups get as many snaps in this last game. All right, let me find them. We're going to bring on the voice of the fan, Bruce Warner, now to babysit me here for the second segment of the show. Bruce, before we go back to the fans, what does the voice of the fan have to say this week about what he saw on Saturday?
Well, I have a question for you. The play that they called not a touchdown with Marty Brown, that's not reviewable. And if you because
they blew the whistle.
They blew the whistle, so that's it.
They blew the whistle.
Wow. Yeah. That's terrible. What a terrible call. Yeah.
Pretty weak.
Listen, I'm happy we won. I wish we would have beaten them worse. That's typical when you play a rival like that. You just want to shut them up altogether. So that's 2 years in a row. They got 17 last year, and they got 7 this year, the Gators. But we talked about Beck. I watched his footwork. His footwork wasn't so great either. He seemed like he was a little gun shy in the pocket. The pass he threw to Marty Brown in the flat, which was not a good pass, but the kid made a hell of a catch. He threw it over the defender, but he didn't look like he was really set. I think they're going to fix a lot of this week. I'm not worried about him. I worry about it if they play Florida State. He doesn't look too good. Then I get a little nervous. And Greg made a good point. If you look at Georgia Tech's schedule, they play nobody. They have nobody left. They don't play us. They don't play Florida State. There's nobody left. They could run the table. So which makes the winner of the Florida State-Miami game the other team in the championship game. This is a must-win game now. We can't lose this game and hope that Georgia Tech loses. It's a big game. So from the fans' point of view, we got to win this game. And I think I love the intensity. Gary, you know that they've been talking about this for years. The team plays good, then they play bad, then they play good. This team has got a fire under their rear ends. Everybody has bought in. It hasn't been great on some of the offense, like the Notre Dame game, but the intensity and playing with violence and with anger and all the things that Mario has talked about since he got here, it's showing up. And it does remind me of when we had Russell and Cortez and Sapp, and Jimmy Jones was a backup, for God's sakes. That's what it reminds me of. And they were just in the backfield constantly wreaking havoc in the backfield. That's what they're doing now. And so I'm thrilled. And I don't think they're going to let up. I don't know if they're going to beat Florida State, but I'm curious to see what they do on Friday against a pretty well-disciplined team. Not a great team, Virginia, but they usually play smart football. They don't beat themselves. I'm curious to see how they defend Castellanos in the pocket and if they let him get out or they try to make him a pocket passer. That's what I'm going to look at Friday.
All right, let's go to a guy we haven't seen in a little bit here. Happy to have him back. The Mikester Kane. What's going on, man? Where you been?
Well, I've been busy, but hanging in there. Hanging in there. How you been, Gary?
Doing good. So what do you think of the season so far?
Well, I can tell you, I wish Matt had stayed on tonight because he does have a very good point. Okay. I mean, I know he's saying conservative, but whatever works, take it, Think of it like this, as a boxing match, okay? You got two heavyweight fighters in there, and they're exchanging body blows. What Miami is doing is body blow after body blow after body blow, not necessarily going for the knockout because you don't need to do that. You just hit them with body blow after body blow, get first downs, control the clock, you'll win the game. I think that if they go like this for the rest of the season, they'll win out on every game, even if they got to play against Georgia Tech. Because if you keep your offense out there and you do that body blow after body blow, you keep your defense off the field, they stay rested, and then you can pin your ears back, go after your opponent's quarterback, and you'll win the game. It's fair and simple. What do you guys think?
I don't know if it's that simple.
I mean, I think you got to be able to win some games the way they won the game the other night. And, your physicality is a strength. Your running backs are a strength. And you were playing a team that was missing 3 of their starting defensive linemen. Okay. And you're playing on a wet field. So why force the issue trying to throw it all over the place? When you've got all that going for you, just pound them and pound them and pound them. And you saw they wore down in the fourth quarter.
You don't need to necessarily go for the bomb. I mean, every fan wants to see a 50-yard bomb for a touchdown.
Of course, it's exciting, but
it's exciting. Who wants to see, okay, you're going to run 10 yards up the field for a first down, 12 yards up the field for another first down, blah, blah, blah.
Take it.
Fletcher and Marty Brown are pretty exciting.
Exactly. Thank you. That's what I wanted to hear.
So what else, Mikester? You got anything else for us?
Well, Florida State, what do you guys think? What's the strategy here?
I got to watch them on Friday. I saw a lot of their Alabama game, but I haven't watched them since. My initial thought is Castellanos is an incredible leader. He has had an impact on that program the way Cam Ward had an impact on Miami last year. And bringing in Gus Malzahn has been enormous for them, and they're playing really well on offense. And look, I mean, they've done a great job. You can't do anything but compliment those guys up there. They were terrible last year. We'll see. I want to see them play Friday night. We'll talk more about Florida State next Tuesday.
Yeah, well, here's my thoughts on this game here. I think just do the conservative with the offense, keep Castellanos off the field, and you got it.
Yeah.
I mean,
Castellanos on the field, it doesn't worry me so much as long as they're containing him running around.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
He doesn't worry me so much throwing the football.
Right. But if he's running around, he's going to tire out your defense.
Well, they got that.
He ain't running around against these guys.
Eventually, if he's getting first downs, Yeah.
Mike, who have they played the last 2 games? They played bums, not even less than bums. So you really can't go by that. And I thought Simpson was horrible. He may be better now, but he was abysmal in that first game. So they beat Alabama, but I'm still not sure how good they are. We've seen Miami. We know how good they are. They're violent. They're vicious. The offensive line. Let them go up against an offensive line. They haven't seen anything like this year, including their own offensive line, who they practice against.
Our offensive line is a 5-headed monster. I mean, come on. So, anyway, guys, that's
all right, Mike. How's the band? How's the band doing?
How's the band doing? Well, I took time off from that. I had to.
Yeah.
I had to take some time off. I'll probably get it going sometime in the next year or so, but I'm working on that. I'm working on those songs, though. I got a couple for us.
Oh, do you? All right, maybe next week.
I don't know about next week, but
you let me know when you're ready, and we'll have a song.
Yeah, there you go. All right, guys.
All right, Mike. Great seeing you again, man.
Wait a minute. My shout out to Kane. Does he come on the show yet?
He was on the show earlier. Yes.
Oh, damn it. I missed it. Oh, well.
Yeah, you got to get on early.
Really funny.
He's usually on the show early because
he's everything. Is everything come on there?
He was on earlier too. Yes.
Oh, what about that Paul guy? What's his name?
Greg?
Paul, I think is his name.
I don't know, Paul.
Yeah.
Mike's, you know what? 8 o'clock the show starts. 8 o'clock, not now.
Come back at 8 o'clock next week.
I know, but
you'll see your boys
at 8 o'clock, so I had to take care of something really fast. So
all right. Well, next week block out your schedule.
Get on there sooner. All right.
Next week, block out your schedule. You'll see your boys.
All right.
All right, Mike.
Guys,
good seeing you again, man. Let's see. Fire Marine. Not saving back. Players need to make plays. Not every pass is going to be perfect. Receivers have made plenty of plays for Carson.
Yeah, they have.
Yeah, I mean, there's no issues there at all. Tony's made plays.
I don't want to talk about
DJ Daniels has made several plays.
Yeah.
The receivers are taking care of their quarterback. No doubt about it. All right, let's go to Jake Morewine Kaminsky. What's up, Jake? What you drinking this week, man?
Doing good. I'm coming in late, so if I'm repetitive, just go ahead.
Good.
Boot me right off.
Let's boot him.
So this team this year, I find even more entertaining than last year. You know, for me, at the end of the day, this is entertainment, and watching this defense just menacing other teams is truly entertaining. And that was just 0 for 13 on first down. Wow. Loved it. And by the way, you guys both told me don't get cocky. Mario can't get cocky. He's got to get the team cocky. What did we do? We won by 3 touchdowns. So we didn't get those 2 extra points, but a 3 touchdown win against a rival that you're probably not going to play in a very long time. We've got the bragging rights now. Screw the SEC. Where do you think we're looking on some of these flips here? And if you already discussed this, like I said, I missed the first 45 minutes or so, but like that Tank Jones was in town. Where do you?
I think they're plugging away, and I think in December it's going to be game on, and Miami is going to go whale hunting in a big time way in December. There's no reason to do it now. You get too aggressive in September with some of these elite players. All you're doing is setting the market.
That's what you're doing. Right.
The proper strategy is wait until December and then go for it, and I think that's what you're going to see.
What about with Calvin Russell? Are we making any inroads there? Or
I mean, I don't get it, man. His mom is in the Miami Sport Hall of Fame. I mean, you hear little things like they didn't feel like they were getting enough, love from Miami, that Miami was taking them for granted because of the mom. I mean, I don't know, man. I mean, the guy comes to every game with Malachi Tony clothes on. Like, he can play with Malachi Tony. Like, what's he messing around with, man? It's like, what's he waiting for them to get other receivers and not have a spot for him? Because that will happen.
I wonder, is he a high priority? Because it does seem like they've widened the board, gone after some others, and I'm always worried with those like 6'5" bean poles.
Yeah, I mean, we don't know what the pecking order is. Okay.
Yeah.
I will say this from my observation: he's the second best receiver at Northwestern. Okay. The best one is the 2027 kid that's going to hopefully commit sometime soon.
Is he still talking about, there were some rumblings about Lanier reclassifying. Is that still on the table?
We haven't heard that yet, but I mean, they would take him. They'll take that kid anytime he wants to come. Yeah. And I think they would take Calvin Russell too, but he's got to jump in the boat. Like, you can't play these games. Oh, I'm going to Syracuse.
Well, you got to be realistic.
You're not scaring anybody. Like, you're not like, nobody's, oh my God, Calvin Russell might go to Syracuse. Like,
this is one of the things that you've always alluded, but like, it doesn't seem like Mario's afraid to go get someone else. Like, we want South Florida kids, but
Miami's as marketable as any program in the country right now. Okay?
Yeah.
Right now, Miami has it all going. They have the budget. They have the backing of the university. They have the juice. They're calling themselves Electric Juice. They got the electric juice this year. And they're as marketable as any team in the country right now to some of these kids. And they're not going to sit there and have a heart attack because the kid at Northwestern, whose mom is in the Miami Sports Hall of Fame, is giving them a hard time and not jumping in the boat when he has the opportunity to jump in the boat. That's just my opinion. Now, I mean, I don't want anybody. I know some of the recruiting staffers might be watching or whatever. Don't come screaming at me. This is my opinion.
Yeah. Hey, you know what? But Gary, you know, Blue also has come out and said, I don't think he's that good. He's not. I don't think he's
not the best receiver at Northwestern.
He doesn't have great production. I mean, he's got measurables that
he's got an upside, but that word's used constantly.
He has an upside, yes.
There's something to had an upside
because of his size, because of his athleticism. There is something to work with there. Nobody is having a heart attack over whether he's going to be part of the class or not part of the class. They'll take him, they like him, but I don't think they're having a heart attack over it. I really don't. And if I were advising Calvin Russell and you want to be a Miami Hurricane, which I don't understand why you'd rather go play in Syracuse. I mean, I know Fran Brown does a good job sometimes bonding with recruits and stuff. I get it. But you are a Miami guy. Your mom's in the Miami Sports Hall of Fame. You have every reason to be my Miami Hurricane. I wouldn't wait until December, man.
Well, or is it just Syracuse has the luxury of dropping one giant bag?
They can drop a giant bag, yes, for a kid like this, yes.
Miami,
their head coach does do a good job recruiting.
Yeah,
and it's the other kid in Orland who's talking about North Carolina. Like, what are you doing? Like, why? Like I said, I did the recruiting podcast with Stephen Wagner. I'm like, why? Like, why? Like, why are you like, why? You want to leverage for another $100,000? Like,
well, it's like I like that Mario's not putting up with the bullshit.
He's not.
Saying, like, hey, you're okay. Yeah, you want to leverage us? Fine. There's 20 other kids.
Hey, Jake, have you ever seen that Spafford kid play?
The kid's electric.
He's electric. Yes, he is. That's a great word for him. Some people think electric is quick. He's fast.
Yeah, no, he plays with good game speed, and that's why I said, like, you don't get tied up on guys because, like, Russell does not, for his size, he does not have production in high school like Spafford or forget Spafford, Samarian Wingo.
Yeah, Wingo's good too.
What does he have? He's played 4 games. He's got 1,000 yards this season already.
Wingo looks great. I mean, that's what I'm saying. The other kid, Tyrese Evans kid, like, is a big receiver. Like, they're not sitting here having a heart attack over Calvin Russell.
Yep.
If Miami wins 10 games a year consistently, Mario will have no problem finding kids who want to come here, whether they're from South Florida.
Listen, Miami is very competitive NIL-wise. They have a very good budget. There's no penny pinching or anything like that. But they are very well organized. They have a scale. Now, you give them a whale, they'll deviate a little bit sometimes from their scale. But for the most part, the guys at this position are worth this. The guys at this position are worth this. They have it budgeted out. Boom, 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 boom. And that's it. And they're not chasing these schools.
Not Andre Johnson, Jake, that's for sure.
He's also created a culture where, like, I heard you before I hopped on, or maybe the caller before that, but you were talking about JoJo Trader. And, I don't have any insider info. I know none of the details. But Mario basically came out this week after he's been saying, he's going to be ready. He's going to be ready. This week, he basically said, JoJo's got to show us some more on the practice field.
Well, there's nothing wrong with that.
I don't want that at all. Because he's saying, look, I don't care if you were a blue chip recruit. You're a Miami Hurricane now. There's a standard. It's got to look the right way. And there's guys doing better than you are. You got to perform. And that's something that we haven't seen in a very long time, where there's a bar. You hope the players set it. But at the very least, the coaches need to enforce it, where it's like, you aren't bigger than this thing. You aren't bigger than this program. We'd like to have you, but we don't need you. Right. And even and it's not because, like, you know, guys, you were also talking about Ray Joseph. From everything, it sounds like he's done all the right things. There's better guys out there.
Ray Joseph, there's not a problem with him doing the wrong things.
No,
he's a good kid. He does the right things. He's just not as good as the guys that are playing.
And to that end, that's a guy who you almost root for. It's like, hey, you know what? If you want to stay here, great. Because a guy like that who's willing to wait his turn and work his ass off, and maybe it just never comes, you still will like a guy like that in your locker room because they're productive, and they're the ones helping raise this bar because you know, normally we'd be catering to guys like that. But on top of that, you could also just as soon say, hey, good luck, young man. Go find some playing time elsewhere. And you root for the kid because he's been nothing but a team guy. And that, you know, I've said it just about every day this year I've been on this show. I eat my words. The culture is changed, and that's where you're seeing this massive difference. And that's also allowing the bar of the depth to just show out. You know, like there hasn't been this massive drop off. Toure and Bassett lit it up this last week. I don't know what the hell PFF had against Bassett this week. He was all over the field. Like he had like a 44. I'm like, what game did you watch? I just watched that game for the second time.
He was involved in a lot of plays. Who knows if he overran plays? I have to watch the game again.
He might not have taken
every play, and they're grading every player and every play. It's amazing what they do. Yeah. It doesn't mean they're right all the time, but it's an amazing process.
but yeah, like him and you know, but the game before it was Chase Smith and I'm forgetting who the other guy stepped up, but like we're starting to see that depth level where there isn't a massive drop off. So I'm just going to sign off with this because I don't know everything you touched on and I don't want to waste more time. But Bain and Messidor, the law office of Bain and Messidor are having their company party, and you know what's on deck? Midget tossing. Thomas Castellanos is about to have a rough time. He better enjoy Friday night because that kid is toast. They're going to have enough film on him. This Florida State team does not scare me. They don't have the size. And Bain and Messidor are the equivalent of Cam Ward last year. They are just
they're playing unbelievable, absolutely unbelievable. Yeah.
Don't forget Blay and Moten because those two guys are helping.
Oh no! I mean, like
they're taking on the three guys in the middle, and the two ends have single guys blocking them. Good luck. Good luck.
Lightfoot, how about that stop? He is in coverage on a wide receiver, and he comes up with that massive stop at the. I mean, not that they had a chance; they were toast already. But just to ice that game and put it in the books. But yeah, this defensive line, what a night and day. And then the secondary, the fact that you don't even. I think Herbstreit, if you guys commented on this, I'm sorry, but he said like halfway through the game, he's like, I don't think I've mentioned a wide receiver or not a wide receiver, a cornerback in this game yet. I mean, when you're halfway through and the announcer's like, I don't know if the cornerbacks, what they're doing, that's wild.
You know what they're good at, Gary? Stuff. Coming off the corner, the safety blitz, corner blitzes. They've been doing that, and they've been very successful with that. So you don't even know where the pass rush is coming from.
Yeah, it's just it's not even that aggressive with the blitz, but he's just like you said, Bruce. You have no idea where it's coming from, and it's fun to watch. It's entertaining, and I think the way we have just plugged up the run. Have we even allowed 100 yards rushing against an opponent yet this year?
I don't think so. I don't know. I don't know what South Florida did. I don't remember.
You had Notre Dame was supposed to have a lights out tandem. They did nothing. Right. Byron Brown is an electric running quarterback. He did nothing. Jaden Baugh, DJ
93 yards, so no.
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 All right, Jake, let me let you run here because we got other guys who want to get on next week, man. Next Tuesday night, we'll continue.
Tuesday?
Yeah, we'll do a show next Tuesday. Everybody wants to talk.
Big week, Florida State.
Have a good week, buddy.
Florida State.
All right, Gary, I have to call out everything 305. He sits there and he writes, I should wait because Bluestein never said what I said he said. Don't tell me what he said, everything. I know he said it because he said it on my other show, off the air and on the air. So please, you're wrong.
Yeah, real quick. Was he on camera this week?
No, he doesn't come on camera.
No.
He's got to go on camera, Gary. I'm sorry. This clown.
I'm sure
he's got to set the rules. He's got to say you ain't coming on unless you're on the camera. If he's not on the camera, you go to the next person.
This guy throws bombs out there and he doesn't have the guts to show his face. Get on camera.
All right, Jake, next Tuesday, man.
Take it easy.
All right, let's go BK Hurricane and waiting patiently. What's up,
Hey, Gary, what's up, Bruce? What's up?
How you doing, man?
What's going on?
Good.
Hey, Gary.
Yes, sir.
I'm going to give you my week 1 rant, the same rant I had against Notre Dame. Who is Florida State? They haven't beaten anybody. They caught a first game Alabama team slipping. To me, they didn't beat Alabama. Alabama beat themselves. They lost the game. They made plays, of course. If real Alabama shows up, if the real Alabama shows up, Florida State loses. And if your next 2 games are against Eastern Hawaii State and University of West Virginia at South Carolina Tech, everybody's impressed. I mean, the whole world is impressed. Thomas Castellanos has been in the ACC for what, 5? This is his 5th year, right?
I think so.
5th year senior. And all of a sudden now he's got to figure it out. Everybody knows how to beat Thomas Castellanos. Let him get his little run around as long as it's up the middle and force him to throw the ball, and you're going to win. He's 5'7". You're going to win. If you are passing the ball the way that he is against inferior competition, Gary, you would look that good. You would be a Heisman Trophy candidate. Nothing impresses me about this Florida State team. Granted, they put up a bunch of points against bums.
They can be a thrower.
That's the wrong with your audio.
I don't know.
That's the formula against Castellanos. Just keep him in the pocket.
That's what I say.
And he'll self-implode. He's been doing it the last 4 years. He's not going to change now. The last 4 years, he's been self-imploding, keeping him in the pocket. Everybody knows this. It's not rocket science. Everybody knows the only way Florida State is going to beat Miami is if they hit on every single trick play that they have in that playbook.
And that's not going to happen.
And that's not going to happen.
No.
And that is not going to happen. I'm not worried about Florida State. At beginning, the first.
Who are you worried about?
But this is what I was getting ready to say. The first call of the year, I predicted we go 11-1, and that was because I thought we played Georgia Tech. But now we don't play Georgia Tech. Georgia Tech is the only team in the ACC that could pretty much match Miami's toughness.
Not anymore.
Toughness?
They're not going to see anything like our offense.
Bruce, I agree with you 100%. I'm talking about toughness.
Who cares?
Georgia Tech out-toughed Georgia last year. Scored 60 points in a quadruple overtime game, whatever it was. Georgia Tech is a tough football program. Until I realized we weren't playing them, I said 11-1. Now the sky's the limit. But I said,
Bruce, get out and come back in because your audio's off.
Hey, Gary, I said that first show that we were going to lose a game that we're not supposed to lose. And it was the Georgia Tech game. It's a team we should beat, but Georgia Tech would find a way just like they always do. So I had us losing against Georgia Tech before I realized we didn't even play them. We don't even play them this year.
Yeah, unless we play them in Charlotte.
Unless we play them in Charlotte. Exactly. And at this point, it's looking like we might play Georgia Tech in Charlotte.
Yeah.
That's what it's looking like to me. Florida State has not been that impressive. You have this one rookie kid, you have this one freshman kid running up and down the field, 4.3 speed all over the place, beating bums, Gary. Beating bums. Everybody in the country sees Miami for who they are right now. This isn't the Cam Ward Miami. This is a new Miami where they look like a complete football team.
They really do.
They look like they could beat you any way you want to play. If you want to play, let's throw the ball 100 times. Okay, let's do that. We'll beat you there too. You want to run the ball 60 times? Okay, we'll do that. We'll run the ball 60 times and we'll beat you. Yeah. That's what everyone is saying about Miami. This looks like a different football team. I don't even know what Miami team this is. I'm looking at it, I'm like, they are literally beating people up. They'll score 24 points and they'll win 24-10, but they literally bludgeon that other team. They bludgeoned Florida on Saturday. Mm-hmm. They literally bludgeoned Florida on Saturday. Everybody's complaining, oh, they didn't score enough. Miami's offense. No, this is who we are now. This is what we do. We're going to come out. We're going to hit you in the mouth, and if you don't react, we're going to come out again and hit you again.
But I like the fact that they punch you in the mouth, and they're still punching.
The entire game, and the beautiful part about the whole thing is that we could get to the quarterback with 4 guys. I can't even remember the last time I saw it. I think Gary was right. I think it was Warren Sapp and crew. The last time I saw our defensive line get to the quarterback on a consistent basis, rushing only 4 guys, not bringing in a blitzer, rushing 4 guys. I've never seen anything like it. I've never seen a team go 0 on 3rd down.
I mean, 0 for 13. That was crazy.
Even when we played Bethune-Cookman, they scored some first downs. They had some first downs. Right, when we played, like when we played Bethune-Cookman, they had a couple of first downs in the game. Mm-hmm. But to hold Florida to an offer, that's crazy. That is crazy. I'm not worried about Florida State. Florida State is, they got that gimmicky offense, and that's all it is. And that's what Gus Malzahn is known for, having a gimmicky offense.
You're right.
They have that gimmicky offense, and all you got to do.
You got to respect that they gave Alabama.
Well, they gave Alabama a hard time because they caught Alabama slipping. Ty Simpson had the worst game ever. They arguably had the best wide receiver in the country. They didn't throw him the ball. Like, all the variables were there for Florida State to win, and they took advantage of it and won. That's how I look at it. They took advantage of it and won. Everybody's riding Florida State. Oh, the offense looks incredible. This Danzy kid, but he's running through 14-year-olds practically. He's like a grown man playing against 14-year-olds. So everyone knows the Gus Malzahn offense. There's over 15 years of video on Gus Malzahn.
That's very true.
15 years of video on Gus Malzahn. We have 4 years of video on Thomas Castellanos. And you mean to tell me it's the day they play Miami, all that's going to change?
No.
It's not going to change. You can't change who you are.
About Florida State next week.
All right, I got you, Gary.
Yep. We'll talk to you next Tuesday.
All right, cool. I'll be on.
All right, man. All right, let's go to Armando Izaguirre.
Hey,
welcome back to CaneSport Live. How you doing, Armando?
Pretty good. Gary, do you remember the first time you did the show, what you told us the reason why you're doing this show back under the Al Golden era?
I mean, the reason I started the show was to give all you guys a voice.
I remember the thing that you told us was it was a therapy session because we were so
it used
frustrated.
to be therapy, yeah.
And look how the times have changed.
Back then we used to play Mary J. Blige therapy when YouTube didn't used to give us copyright infractions for it. Now if we try to play that song, we'll get copyright flagged.
Yeah, I was just thinking about that. I just wanted to say a few things real quick. I know we're running out of time. Great article by Matt. You can tell him I read his article. I subscribed. Article that he wrote yesterday. Great article. He was funny as hell as I was reading it. Another thing, I promise you, everything 305, I used to think he was smart, and now I think he was secretly an FSU fan. And back then, when he was talking 5 years ago, if you constantly saying Miami's going to be terrible, eventually you're going to be all right. And now that, we're actually pretty good, and he's, right more often than not, I think
we're playing a game. We're playing a game where there might be one team at the end of the year that goes 12-0, and he's sitting there predicting every decent opponent we played that we're going to lose. Okay.
Yeah, back then when you got your Miami colored glasses, you thought that he was smart, but now I don't even think that anymore.
I don't want to make a comment, but I did think he was smart. I'm not so sure anymore. How's that?
Yeah, well, that's exactly my point.
He's a former coach of some type of team. I don't know what, but I mean,
he said softball.
He honestly is somewhat knowledgeable.
Yeah.
He's just, down, trying to predict losses for some reason.
Stay away from the predictions and just talk about the game and be done with it.
Yeah. I had some thoughts on Ruben Bain. I know that's been kind of the subject for a while now, and I know you've been talking about him. He kind of reminds me like an Aaron Donald, but more
Aaron Donald, yeah.
I feel like he moves to that DT spot. He's cost himself a lot of money at the end.
No, he's not, because anybody that drafts him, well, wait, let me say that with a caution. I think he's playing well enough that he's not costing himself money, because anybody that drafts him will have that vision. And they will be able to bring him into an NFL camp and see for themselves where they should play him. If he wasn't playing as well as he's playing right now, then he would be, in my opinion, costing himself money.
You know what? I like that package that they're running, where they put him and Mesidor on one side, and they're like completely unblockable. It's like, I feel bad. The first time I saw him, I think it was against Notre Dame. I was like, oh my goodness, there's nothing that they can do about it. Corey Heatherman, he's a genius. The things that he's doing, I didn't see it coming. He stacks those three linemen to one side, and he puts Bain on the other side. It's just, the first time I saw it, I'm like, oh, he's going to eat somebody up right now. There's nothing that they can do.
The only thing I didn't like was when he had Moten at defensive end against Notre Dame trying to be a pass rusher. That did not work. I don't think we'll ever see that one again.
He probably got caught like in a bad package or something. And
I don't know, man. That was really ugly.
Yeah, it's going to happen eventually.
But he did get in the backfield on that play, though.
Yeah,
I don't think he had much help. He was all along back there trying to chase the quarterback.
Hey, Inez Cooper, he looks like a menace.
He's got to tone it down, though, man. He's going to get a 15-yard penalty at the wrong time. Inez, I hope you're watching. You got to tone it down. You're way up there on the edge right now with some of the.
Did you see his Instagram? Where I don't want to say what he said, but
we saw it. Yeah, it was ridiculous. He's going to get a 15-yard penalty at the wrong time if he doesn't dial it back.
Yeah,
just go play football, man. You're a great football player. You don't need to be doing all these theatrics all the time out there.
He's definitely getting drafted. That kid's good.
Yeah, but he's getting too dramatic. Too much drama. Too much drama. Way too.
He used to be quiet and didn't say much. Now he's talking a lot.
I hope he doesn't get mad at me. He's big. He's a big dude, man. He's a badass. But
the whole team looks just so. I love the swag that they're playing with. It reminds me of the old Hurricanes, just confident we're better than everybody else. It's fun to watch. Another note that I know that everybody's talking about FSU's win over Alabama, but I think we forgot that Alabama wasn't very good last year either. Like I know that they were 8-4, but they lost to a 6-6 Oklahoma, and they struggled against some other teams. I think they lost to Vanderbilt, which maybe Vanderbilt is pretty good.
They got to be freaking out in Tuscaloosa.
Yeah, so I'm not sold on that Florida State win against Alabama was it wasn't a Nick Saban Alabama.
Doesn't matter, Armando. It's a rivalry game, and we have to beat these guys. I don't care what their record is or who they've played and how they played them. We've got to beat these guys, because then we can control our own destiny the rest of the season.
And going back to the JoJo Trader, I don't want to say too much, but I remember watching him at Chaminade and the way they played over there in South Florida. Not to trash on them or anything, but it didn't seem like they had as much heart, as what I'm used to. where you see other players. And I'm not saying that he does or he doesn't, but that was just something that I perceived watching him. I don't know what his issue is. Obviously, you talked about it a lot. I don't want to beat a dead horse, but I hope that he really can get it together, because I mean, a lot of a lot of us, the base, we're so excited to see JoJo Trader in a big game like this. And I think Mario, if it is the case, I think it's right. It's only right. You can't decide that you want to show up for a big game but sit out the other games. If you're healthy, you're healthy. If you're healthy enough to play, you got to play. If not, you just got to wait until you're healthy, obviously.
I don't think his issue was health this week. I think it was he didn't practice that well.
He didn't practice well. Yep.
So if he doesn't want to practice well, how on earth could you put him in the game and trust him?
They're not going to put him in the game.
Right, they're not. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah, they won't.
They won't. It's all on him. He has to go out there and prove he's ready to go out there and give the performance they expect out of him. Not close your eyes and go, I hope he does well. You're not going to put him out like that.
Yeah. That's it, Gary. I don't have much to say.
All right, Armando. Yeah, we'll talk to you next week, man. Come back next Tuesday.
Yeah,
we'll see you then. All right, let's go to Sebastian. What's going on, Sebastian? How you doing this week, my man?
Hey, how you doing, Bruce? Hey, Gary.
I'm doing good, buddy. How are you?
I'm doing
Hey,
great.
Happy New Year. It's a Jewish New Year. Gary and I are
Yep. Jewish New Year. Hey, just a couple of things I wanted to talk about tonight. The first thing is I'm really, really pleased and happy with what I've been seeing with Marquise Lightfoot. Yeah. This is a guy that's a 5-star. And, a lot of time with a 5-star, some of those kids just expect success so quickly, and they don't give room for their bodies to grow and develop into the position that he's in. But if he keeps on, he reminds me of Will Anderson, maybe not as bulky as Will Anderson from Alabama, and that other guy that was from that played at Alabama that graduated from St. Thomas Aquinas. He was a menace. We lost out on him. I can't.
I know who you're talking about.
You know what I'm talking about?
God, I do know who you're talking about. I can't remember the names. But not coming to my head real quick. But yeah.
But that speed package, I think teams to be successful against us has to get ahead. They have to be on schedule. They have to be ahead of the sticks. Because if you get into that third and long situation or whatnot, you're kind of playing into our strength. Because our defensive backs can hold up. Our safeties know their assignments, and those windows you have to throw the ball in has to be very, very tight. So, but I'm really, really liking what I'm seeing out of him. The other thing I wanted to talk about is I think everything's okay. Can you just calm my nerves that everything's okay with Jordan Lyles? I understand that if you're not completely healthy, it's hard to put you in the game when other two running backs are playing a little bit better,
I think Jordan Lyle is an absolute difference maker. Mm-hmm. That you're going to be really happy you have 100% healthy when you start rolling him out there, probably in Tallahassee in 2 weeks. And that's a kid that kid can go the distance anytime he touches the ball. And he's going to be a real big part of the second half of the season, in my opinion.
Yeah, and I think you're going to see him in the flat a lot too, Sebastian, catching balls out of the backfield because he's a mismatch. Nobody could really stay with him.
Yeah.
Although, man, I'm going to miss Marty Brown, man. I hope Marty Brown is like lighting it up out there.
Yeah, he is.
No, and Marty was been playing real well, and so I wasn't in a hurry to rush Jordan out there if he wasn't healthy, knowing that we were going up against a week where we're going to have a bye. And then have to play Florida State and Tallahassee, which I think is going to be a real, real big game. Now that's a big
wet
game
field,
because
the wet field. You got to take the wet field into consideration.
And just all of that. Now I will say this: that game in Tallahassee is going to be big because it's going to be the third or fourth time we're going to be in prime time. Right. We're going to be on the road, and that's a big game because we have to be a team. If we're thinking about going deep for a playoff run, we have to know how to travel and play. Traveling and winning games on the road, there's a lot of things that comes along with it. There's your family that has to travel. There's going on the road as a team, being in a hostile environment. Well, you have to rely on one another. Where talent really shows up, but you got to learn how to rely on one another. So I think it's a big test for the team.
It is a big test. When I say Lyle, though, Sebastian, I think he can get 6 or 8 touches and still make a big difference in that game. It only takes one play like he had last year, one play to break it down and the game's over. So I'm not saying he's going to carry 20 times and take carries away from Brown or Fletcher, but 6 to 8 carries or 1 or 2 passes into flat or something like that, he could still do a lot of damage.
Yeah. Hey, Bruce and Gary, do you think, first of all, I think Shannon Dawson's name is getting thrown out there a lot with all these coaching vacancies that are coming. And
his agent puts him out for every job. That's why.
Okay, he puts him out for every job. Okay.
Yeah. But I mean, listen, people are going to be. He's doing a good job. Like my concern with Shannon is that he's going to take some job like Tulsa or something like that, which is just a complete total waste of time. And then we got to go find the right OC again. It's like, man, I hate when that happens. I mean, but
if he plays it smart, like Kirby Smart, where you land the right job, it could be a hell of a difference. And Kirby stayed at Alabama for a long time and turned out a lot of other teams.
Turned out well for him. Yes,
he needs to be.
Was that Kirby's first head coaching position at Georgia? Do you guys know?
Yeah,
that was his first head coaching job. Yeah.
Well, that's probably going to wind up.
Venables, another example. I mean, hung out at Clemson until he got the right opportunity at Oklahoma. I mean, that's the way to do it, in my opinion. But it's easy for me to say when a guy's making, like, say, $1.5 million and somebody comes and says, "I'll pay you $4 to be a head coach." I mean, most guys don't say no to that. But hey, I just want to give a quick shout out to Pinellas Kane for remembering that. That was a long time ago. But yes, I absolutely was saying that very vociferously for a long time.
I remember therapy. I remember
yeah, but he's talking about when I was saying that Mario was the right guy to come back here and fix this mess. And there was no doubt in my mind for a long time, and it finally got done.
Hey, I wanted to ask you guys this question. Do you think Shannon Dawson has in his arsenal to do like jet sweeps and stuff like that?
Yeah.
I think he can do whatever he wants. He just
run jet sweeps.
I think they need to do that because if you're going to play a team like Georgia Tech, our defense needs to see it. They need to know how to, defend it and coach it up and know how to play and do those kind of things. Gary, I think you were right when you were talking about, I think it was you and Steven, in relations to recruiting. I think this is going to be a big class, and I think they don't need to just, put all their eggs in one basket. I think there's enough talent to go around that if you miss on some hometown products like a Calvin Russell, you could probably make it up by flipping that wide receiver from, that's on Florida's recruiting list right now from Alabama. I think there's a way that you can go about that and be able to happen. Okay, for the next 3 weeks, I think here's where our season lies. We have Florida State. Then we have Louisville, and then who we have after Louisville? It's not.
Oh man,
I have it right here.
Is that NC State? Maybe. God, I don't look ahead like that. But I'll tell you in a minute.
Stanford at home. We play Stanford at home.
Oh, Stanford.
So we always have trouble after Florida State, no matter what. So the Louisville game is going to be a psychological battle for us to be ready for that game. Win, lose, or draw against the Noles.
So if we can get through the next 3 weeks, because we have Florida State, then we have a bye, then we have Louisville.
I forgot about that. You're right. We'll be ready for Louisville.
Right. So if you get through the next 4 weeks where you've only had to play 3 games those 4 weeks, then you're up against the month of November.
Yeah.
Right. And if you're in the month of November, you're chasing with the college football playoffs to the ACC championship right there in front of you. And the hardest part of your schedule is over. So I think the next couple of weeks is going to be very, very crucial.
Yeah.
I still say the Florida State game is the biggest one because it's possible that Georgia Tech can run the table. I looked at the schedule, and it's possible. I'm not saying they're going to do it, but if they do, then the winner of the Florida State-Miami game is going to face them in the title game, and that's why we have to win that game.
Yep.
I'm not relying on anybody knocking off Georgia Tech. It might not happen.
Yeah, and like I said, let's not put all our stock into Georgia Tech because we're kind of crowning them champions right now, and they have to go through the season like everybody else. Bruce and Gary, I'll leave you with this so one other person get on the show. if there were 2 flip targets that you would tell me to watch very, very closely between now and signing day that you think Miami has a shot, who would they be, and why would those be the biggest important flips that we could possibly get?
Biggest and most important. Well,
oh man,
I mean James Johnson, but I don't know if he's coming here. Doesn't seem like it. He kind of blew us off and went to Texas this weekend. I mean, if you ask me who I'd want, I'd say him. I'm not sure about Cooper though.
Yeah,
probably one of the, if we can't get James Johnson, I still want to get one of those D linemen.
Well, the one that decommitted from FAU the other day, he's definitely going to end up being one. But I'm not going to lean on that one. Just Frederick Saintius, but I'm not going to lean on that one because that's a layup. That's too easy. I mean, I'm pretty sure he's coming. Oh man, I would keep an eye on Justice Fitzpatrick a little bit.
I'm thinking of him, and I'm thinking Tank Jones, because I'm thinking Tank Jones right now. NIL, you can get it anywhere. I think whatever you're going to get at another school, you probably can get that at Miami. Is where do you feel the closest to, and where do you feel comfortable? And I think that's where it kind of relies. That where it's going to lie.
I think you might be right about Tank Jones. I don't know about Minka, and the thing is, his brother is a Dolphin, so you would think he'd want to come play in the same neighborhood as his brother. But if he's going to go to Georgia, he's going to Georgia.
We'll see that. Anyway, man, guys, I certainly.
All right, Sebastian.
Gary, you've been working hard. Take next week off, man. I mean,
no, man, we'll be back next Tuesday. We'll be here, same bad time, same bad channel next Tuesday night.
Okay.
Hey, don't back out now. You got to come on next week. We need good callers.
Right, I'll be there, man. Good work, guys. Have a great.
All right, Sebastian. We'll see you next week, man. All right, let's go to James, the Italian Stallion. What's up, man? What you got?
Hey, how's it going, guys? How's it going?
Italian Stallion with the big cross. So happy Rosh Hashanah to you, buddy.
Oh, happy Rosh Hashanah is right. So listen, first off, I just want to start off with this. What a monumental missed call by the SEC officials. If the Auburn-Oklahoma game wasn't bad enough, this other crew with that Shamar Brown, because the whole game changes at that point. Those guys walked off the field dejected, and the defense at that point, during the broadcast, Herbstreit was like, man, the Florida defense is playing lights out, but the offense isn't giving them any reason. At some point, maybe our defense was thinking, dude, what does our offense got to do? And maybe there was just a missed focus there. But if we go up 20-0, you can't tell me we don't shut them out for the first time since '88. They had some ridiculous streak that survived because of a ridiculous call, honestly, at that point.
The worst you'll ever see.
Horrible. And here's the thing. Pay attention to the game, guys. Didn't you see the piles moving all night long, damn it? I mean, that was just insane to blow the whistle like that, honestly. The other thing, too, that I wanted to talk about, Gary, you mentioned some things, and some other guys have already mentioned some things that I just want to touch on that cannot be overlooked. First off, this has got to be one of the best defenses that Miami has had since the early 2000s, easily. The fact of how they attack the ball, the speed, the fact that, there were teams. I always used to wonder, could we ever stop anybody on a 3rd and 3 or a 3rd and 2? And we did it. 0 for 13. I don't give a crap how bad their offense was. You're bound to get one in a game or something like that. But still, broken play, whatever. But still, they were focused. They were ferocious. The one thing I wanted to ask you, Gary, off the top of my head, you mentioned the kid Brantley from Michigan State may have not panned out. But the hits on the transfer portal, specifically in that DB room, and what this new DB coach has done with this group, phenomenal. I think
they're literally 19 out of 20 in the portal this year in terms of
absolutely.
It's insane. Like nobody does this. It's and they've struggled at times with personnel. I'm not going to lie about it. They have, but this year, for whatever reason, they have hit on everybody.
How many guys are they rotating? Because truth be told, there weren't many passes downfield. I think the DBs were asleep back there at some point, unless they were blitzing. Shoot. So, Damari, OJ, and those are the guys you brought in that were recruits, that
Xavier Lucas, those 3 rotated corner.
Yeah. And Jacoby Thomas
gets in there a little bit at corner.
Yeah, Keontae Scott. So yeah, I mean, no, they've been
playing in the slot.
Yeah,
Poyser had a pretty decent game.
I'll tell you another thing too that I'm really impressed with, and I don't know if I mentioned it before. I've talked about the upgrades with coaches and what Damone Lewis and everybody's done at the different positions. A lot can be said about this strength and conditioning coach. I mean, I don't want to talk bad about Juicy or whatever like that, but I have just noticed a different physicality to this group right now with this guy who's in there, and I'm just the guys' bodies are reshaped.
In fairness, these guys are 3 years in now.
They are, and that's a great
all
point.
these big guys that are playing, they're 3 years in now instead of 1 or 2 years in. That makes a big difference.
Well, exactly. Hayden Lowe hadn't been here, and he was great, but got hurt. But he had that same build, and he's only a true freshman.
Mm-hmm. And what about the transfers? Whatever programs they came from, they look like they've got bought right in and working hard. The other thing too is I understand why fans are asking about JoJo Trader and Jordan Lyles. Listen, guys, let's just be grateful for who we have on the field right now. They're part of the game plan. These guys were not part of the game plan, and we looked, pretty decent out there. We dominated in every facet. I don't even think, as much as I criticized the play calling of Dawson when I watched it live, I went back and watched it and I go, what do we really need to show on film here? This is a wounded animal. You're playing with your food at this point. And at no point in that game, yes, the third quarter may have been a little close going into that fourth quarter, but just watch that last 9 minutes of that fourth quarter. Miami just wore them out. They were done. They were finished. And that's what I like. And I'm hoping that we can continue on. Now, one thing I want to look for, like you, Gary, I'm going to keep an eye on that Friday night game with Florida State on the road because they're actually playing a team with a pulse. The other thing that I want to also keep an eye on is how Georgia and Alabama match up, because I could be wrong and I might be in the minority. I think Georgia runs them off the field on Saturday night. There's a reason game day did not go back there. The other thing, too, is that might diminish a little bit of Florida State's win. But, Bruce, like you said, it's a rivalry game. They could be 0-4, and it will still be – look at last year. Last year, we thought we'd hang 60 on them, and they were a pain in the ass the entire game, honestly. And we didn't – and that game cost, in a lot of people's eyes, Cam Ward the Heisman because he didn't throw up the numbers that he needed to in that game. So
and yet our defense was really bad last year. When you compare it to this year, there's no comparison.
There's not. And there's not going to be a quarterback on 4th and 1 running for a touchdown.
Now we're like A defense, B plus offense. Let me ask you something, because we haven't really talked about this. The actual game last week. When it was 13-7 and they went for on 4th and short, shouldn't they have kicked a field goal? It would have been 13-10. They got momentum. They would have scored 10 points in a row, but they didn't. They went for it. They didn't get it, and that was the end of it for them.
Yeah, and what about Lightfoot?
You want to know why he might get fired? There you go.
Yeah. The tackle that was made too. I mean, that was just phenomenal. I mean, we've seen guys that, and then the route. I mean, there was another 4th down that they ran that the route was like a 2-yard route or something. I mean, just really bad play calling. Just really bad play calling.
The guy didn't make it to where he had to get. He was a half a yard short when he turned around. Should have been another half a yard down. That was
without a doubt. Without a doubt. Gary, I wanted to ask you something, and I did have one more point that I wanted to bring up, but I wanted to ask you first. Even though that the passing game wasn't electric Saturday night, and consider the weather, the other thing too is what was the feedback from at least the receivers in regards to if they were excited about that, all those receivers we had there, and the other thing was, did the kid that we're trying to get from Georgia at running back show up in place of Cooper that you were talking about?
No, Jay Lamar. No, he did not.
He didn't show up. Okay, that's a shame.
They'll get him in for a game later in the season, probably. But I don't really understand your question about the receivers. Say it again.
Oh, like how we had like 11 of the top 20 receivers from the next year's class. Was there any feedback that they were
visiting the game?
Did they have a good time despite that the passing game wasn't?
Yeah, but the current players don't really get all caught up in all that. They don't really talk too much about that. I mean, that's more for the staff. I mean, the current players see those guys. They're coming for my spot.
Yeah. Well, I'll say this much. Bruce. to answer your question, I was listening to a show on XM84 radio. Heather Dinich was on, and they were asking her if they felt if there could be 2 Big 12 teams to get into the playoff this year. She told them no, only because she felt that the ACC was going to get 3 teams in the playoffs: Miami, Florida State, and Georgia Tech. And basically, it might even behoove the loser of the Miami Florida State game that they run the table, being 11-1, don't have to play that extra game at the in the ACC championship, and that they would get in that way. I don't want it to be that way. I don't want to be in everybody else's hands. We take care of the business.
I want to buy. Don't you want to buy?
I want to buy.
I
want home field advantage up until January 19th if we can, and play in Atlanta. I think that's one of the semifinal games. That would be a hell of a fun time there for a semifinal game.
I just think that this. I think Miami's going to beat Florida State. I think we're going to run the table. I think we could wind up in a rematch or play Georgia Tech. I'm not afraid of Georgia Tech. I've been afraid of them, but I'm not anymore. Our team is so much better than I've seen in 20-something years. That if it's for everything, or they're not. Georgia Tech's not going to beat Miami. There's no way.
And guys, why couldn't we get UNC on the schedule this year? Why could we not get UNC on the schedule this year? It's not fair. It really isn't. So last point. I predicted a 28-point victory last week against that clown show. It would have been had it not been for the damn referee screwing me. So thank you, SEC, on that. Yeah. I'm predicting a 17-point win over Florida State next week.
I'll take it
right now.
I'll take it, brother.
I'll come on next week. I'll double down on it, especially after what I see from Georgia, Alabama Saturday, and Florida State and Virginia on Friday. But we just got to get healed up. We got to keep going our thing. Props to Mario. Props to you guys for all you do. Go Canes, baby. It's all about the U.
All right, James. Thanks, man. We'll see you next Tuesday. All right, let's go to K-Mac. K-Mac, take us home, man. What you got?
Hey, Gary G-Man Ferman. The Bruce is loose. What's going on, gentlemen?
Now I'm B-Dub. That's what Mel Bratton called B-Dub.
I'm staying even keel, Gary. I love what I saw. I can't tell you. I'm excited about where the team is going. Again, all I keep seeing every game, man, is just the kids trusting the process. They trust their coaches. They love what they're doing. They're having fun playing the game. They're taking it serious. I mean, it's so much to like about what we're doing right now. And going back to that Florida game, I didn't think we would dominate the way that they did. That was a pleasant surprise. I went into the game, I want them to respect every opponent. And I think that's the reason why they're dominating the way they are, because I think they are respecting their opponents, and they're saying, hey, these guys, they can make us look silly if we don't do what we're supposed to do, if we don't handle business. I'm not sure why. It seems like fans keep coming on and wanting to talk about how sorry the teams are we play. I don't see any gratification by downplaying how bad Florida is and how bad South Florida is and how bad, these teams are. We're playing who's on the schedule. If you want to put in perspective how good Florida's defense is, think about this. They had 5 turnovers against LSU on the road and only gave up 20 points. Mm-hmm. To say that defense is not good is crazy, to me it's a disservice to say that they're solid. They're a great. That's actually a pretty doggone good defense. You give us 5 turnovers and we probably scored 60 the other night. But to give up 5 turnovers shows how high level that defense is, and to look at the way we beat them up. I listened to Nick Saban, and when Nick Saban speaks and talks about how physical we are, saying that we're the most physical team he's seen on both sides of the ball this year, to me that holds more weight than I think any other pundit that's on TV, any other personalities. Just the way we look is we almost look like an NFL team, just the way that they carry themselves and the way that they're going about their business. It looks and feels so doggone good. And we got FSU coming up. To me, this is where I think between this game and the next game, this is where we're really going to see Corey Heatherman earn his paycheck. Yeah. We can say we want about 15 years of Gus Malzahn's tape and all this good stuff, but let me tell you something. He can make you look silly if you're not ready. If you're not prepared, he can make you all these gimmicks and all these things that he has. He can make you look silly. So again, It's about Miami going in there, keeping a business mindset, taking this game the way that they're taking every game this year. You take your guys serious, you respect your opponent, but you trust your process and you do your damn job, and everything else should work itself out the way it's supposed to work itself out. I'm enjoying seeing these games on prime time. Again, I don't know why people seem to want to keep trashing our opponents. The opponents that we're playing, other people think that they're good. I just think that we make them look worse than what worse than what they could be because we're playing so doggone well.
Yeah. So I saw Saban make the comments before the game, and he's made comments during the week. I've seen him on little YouTube blips here and there. But you know what? I worry about him. I don't know whether he's blowing smoke up our rear ends and he's saying it, or because I don't really trust him. So, but you understand what I'm saying. I don't know if I believe everything he says, but he's been saying it all season. So maybe he means it.
Yeah.
He's not wrong. He's not wrong.
No, I mean, we're up to number 2, and again, I think Mario's doing the way it's supposed to, man. I think he's keeping the kids focused. Don't look at all this stuff, man. We have to focus on Florida State. I thought the last caller talked about something about the SEC, and look, man, they're going to a top 5 matchup with Oregon and Penn State. You can't always want to go to the SEC for everything. That's a top 5 matchup. Of course, game day should be going there. Nobody wants to talk about Georgia and Alabama. I don't give a damn what these people think and what their name is. You got Penn State and Oregon 2-5 playing each other, or 3-5 playing each other in Death Valley, or Happy Valley. I'm sorry. There's no reason for game day not to be there, just like there's no reason for them not to be there next week for an undefeated Florida State. I'm actually rooting for Florida State this weekend. I want to beat Virginia. I think there's nothing better than that game.
Going in there with Virginia, game day is not going there.
Yeah, game day's not going, exactly, and we'll lose that shine. So again, that's why I say I listen to these guys talking about, Florida State's overrated. Actually, I hope they're not, at least this week coming up. Let them be overrated when we get to them and come in and take care of business. But for now, let them win next week, look good, and come into that game undefeated. I'm looking forward to all the storylines, man, the wide rights, 1, 2, 12, 15, whatever you want to call it. I'm ready to hear old school Miami, Florida State. I mean, back where they're supposed to be. They're relevant. They beat Alabama. I don't want to hear this crap about Alabama wasn't good. I don't want to hear none of that, man. They beat a top 10 team. They've earned their right. Yes, they're playing, Kennesaw State and Guilford Technical Community College. That's fine. Let them do what they want to do. If anything, it's better for us because
just win, baby. Just win.
Yeah, just win.
I know the mentality because I think I mentioned it last week. But Kelvin Harris, my friend, it's Gary's friend, he's always talking undefeated. Every season undefeated. So he texted Mario the other day and he said 16-0, and Mario texted him back 1-0. That's it. 1-0.
That's all you need. That's all you need. I'm on par with you guys. Not worrying about Georgia Tech. I'm not worrying about anybody else on the schedule. Just worry about our opponent. Win your games. Don't put anything in anybody else's hands. Control what you can control, and that is the way we play football. We can't control anybody else. Bruce, I'm like you. I'm not scared of the boogeyman in terms of Georgia Tech. I think we have the team for them this year.
Well, we owe them so badly. I mean, come on, they're not going to beat us again.
Gary, I ain't gonna lie. I was looking forward to them being on the schedule this year, man. I was a little ticked off when I saw they weren't on the schedule. I'm like, crap.
You want your payback.
I'm telling you, we owe them one and then some, boy. They've been throwing our sides for a while now. But all respect to their head coach, he has them guys ready. He has them ready. As a matter of fact, if now that I think about it, kind of put it in perspective with us. I think his kids trust his process. Those kids trust his system, and they play it to perfection, and they do it the way they're supposed to. And even though we had superior talent and athletes on both sides of the ball, every time we lost to them, they win the game because I felt like they trust the process. None of our kids are looking for stats. None of them are looking. They're just looking to win the game, man. And I love it.
Wasn't it the game with the knee? With the fumble that might not have been a fumble, he didn't take a knee, and then we lost. Wasn't that? That was
Georgia Tech. That was Georgia Tech. Yep. Man. That was the year before Cam. That's the year before Cam. Yeah. So all those good things, man. Like I said, I'm really happy to be calling. I know we went 9-0 up to last year. I'm telling you, Gary, it was a different feel. This feels different, man. It just feels like Cane football.
1-0, K-Mac. 1-0.
Yes,
I'm
sir.
with Mario.
Yeah.
Yes, sir. That's it.
Rat poison. Don't eat that rat poison.
No, sir. And great thing is we can't lose this week. That's beautiful. so we'll be 1-0 again this week.
Let's do it again.
Have a good rest of the week.
Thank you guys, man. You guys have a good one. Talk to you later. Be safe.
Yeah, we'll see you next week, K-Mac.
Go Canes.
Yes, sir.
Well, awesome.
Yeah. All right. I'd like to thank everybody that was part of the show tonight. Really appreciate it. Appreciate everybody watching. If you missed the beginning, you can go back and we'll have the CaneSport Rewind up there immediately at the end of this show. We will be back next Tuesday night with a pre-FSU CaneSport Live. So make sure you come back next Tuesday. Tomorrow night, we have the Lamar Thomas Show at 8 p.m. So make sure you come back for that as well. And Bruce, any parting thoughts before we check out?
Yeah, I'm positive that they're correcting whatever they saw wrong with the offense. I'm positive. And defensively, I think they're going to tweak it, and they're going to have to watch the Virginia game very closely, and they're going to try to do whatever they can to disrupt Castellano in the pocket or getting out of the pocket. I'm ready for that game now, but I'll take 9 days of sleeping well. But I'm not worried. I'm very.
I'd be ready if I didn't have to stay at some flea bag freaking hotel. I'll call it a motel. It's not even a hotel. The hotel situation in Tallahassee is the worst city hotel situation I have ever seen anywhere in the United States of America. I mean, it has gotten.
I had
so
a connection
bad.
at the DoubleTree because my stepdaughter and her husband now went to school there. And we used to go visit all the time, and we go up there to watch the games as well. But I mean, I don't know what to tell you. It's probably too late now.
$1,000 a night.
How much?
$1,000 a night for the DoubleTree.
Wow! If you $1,000, they got to throw in a hooker if you're going to pay that kind of money.
Yeah,
man,
the whole thing's a mess up there. They gouge like crazy. They block the hotel rooms, for months after the game comes.
How far out are you going to stay?
Not that far out, but I'm staying. I don't even I'm praying, man. I'm just praying that I got a clean room. So we'll see what happens. All right. So anyway, thank you to everybody for being part of the show. Thank you for everybody that participated. We'll be back with CaneSport Live again next Tuesday night to talk FSU. For Matt, Shodell, and Bruce, I'm Gary. Thank you so much, everybody, again, and we'll see you next time.